Hey everybody, ReefGrrl here, and welcome to ReefGrrl Live. I am so happy you could make it. The whole idea here is to have some fun, chat, get some questions answered, maybe show off what you're doing, and get to know each other a little bit better. So sit back, relax, grab a drink. The stream is about to begin. Hi everybody, hey everybody, ReefGrrl here, and welcome to my live stream. Thanks for coming in tonight. There's a whole bunch of people already in the chat. I saw some of you guys were in here very early, and we also have somebody waiting in the studio. So I will say hi to everyone in the chat, and then we will bring in Shawn's fish tanks. Okay, so Broke Reef Man was #1 tonight, and Broke Reef Man, you were in here very early because you were there already when I was getting a couple things set up, so welcome. Hi Benny Fernandez, Tony Close, UK Reef, American Reefing, Straight Reefer, Broke Reef Man 45, UglyMan's Reefing. Yep, Broke Reef Man, I hope everyone is okay. Same as you, thanks for the sentiment. We also have, oh, it just jumped all the way to the bottom. UglyMan's, okay. Click Clacks Reef, hello. Drama D, Insane Reefer. Hope everything's going well, Oscar. T40, nice to see you, T. Who else have we got? Everybody's saying hi to each other. There's Nat King Reef. That's awesome. Hey, OG to yourself as well. ATF in the house. Hey there, Alan. I hope you're doing well. Kimber Reefs. Insane Reefer again, Jeffrey Hammer, Calypso's Reefs, how you doing there, Hector? And Tar Heel Reefer, hey, glad you could make it. Reefacution, nice to see you. I don't think I've seen you in here before. So that's quite a lot of people already. Whoa, 20 people to start the night off. That's pretty awesome. On one of these Saturday nights on what should really be a family get-together weekend, and with everything that's going on, I'm sure a lot of people are on the internet using the virtual tools that we have to keep in touch wherever possible. Chad Kurtz is here, and yes, Insane Reefer, I got your message. I emailed back to you, and I actually had the wrong email address for you. I was missing some numbers, so hopefully you got the email that I sent back out with the invitation, and I have updated my list. So I do send out a list. I do send an email to the entire list before the stream starts with an invitation of everyone who's been a guest before or who has asked for a link. And so hopefully you got that. If you didn't, drop me a line, reefgrrl@gmail.com. Let me just put that up here while we're chatting. There we go, scrolling across the bottom, and we'll get as many people as we can in here to join the chat. We have 2 people now in the waiting room. There's Falcon Quick. All right, I think I've said hi to everybody who's here. So let's bring in Shawn's fish tanks. Hey, Shawn.
Hey, how are you?
Sideways, just to let you know. Good. You're sideways at the moment. Can you flip your camera?
Sideways. Maybe? I'm going to try to do that.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to bring in AmroAzul TV. There he is.
Hey, everyone.
Let's do this. There we go. Thanks for coming by tonight, guys. Oh, hey, Shawn's fish tanks. Now you're sideways the other way. Oh, there we go.
That's perfect, perfect.
Stop right there.
That's
Looks
better?
Good. That's much better.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, let me see if I can get you on here so that things aren't moving around like crazy.
Yep, the whole tripod thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but it's falling. I set it up with my camera the other way, not thinking that this would be a problem.
Yeah, I guess we could kind of lean over and look.
Look like it's going to stay like this now.
I've spent
Let me
many an
see.
hour as a human tripod
Let me
on
see if
live
I could try
streams.
something else real quick.
All right. So how's it going, Amro?
Things are well. Things are well. Can't
Good. Did
complain.
I see today that you're back to dosing nitrate?
I am. I am. I don't know. Corals are not like the colors are kind of losing a little bit of like spark, and
Vibrancy.
I haven't tested nitrates in I think about 3 or 4 months, and I was shocked when I
Wow.
saw zero. So I typically like my nitrates around like five ppm.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start adding a little bit of potassium nitrate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things you really it never used to be a problem when you had a reef tank to have low nutrients, and now it seems to be endemic. It's crazy.
Yeah, things are so efficient now. Like skimmers are so efficient, and a little like matrix, the stuff that does the denitrifying cycle. It's kind of
Yep.
amazing. Yeah.
Yep. Broke Reefman 45 has a question, and we have Insane Reefer in the waiting room. So let's get Broke Reefman's question up here. He has a question. Bubble tip anemones, good to have in a reef tank? Mine has split for the third time and have to keep moving corals as it moves looking for a spot. I know there's been discussion on this. I've never had an anemone because they scare me, just for this very reason. Plus, I don't like the idea of them getting shredded up in a power head if they happen to wander over there. So Amro, do you have anemones or have you had anemones? I can't remember.
I had an anemone once, and it was in my first reef tank. You know, first reef tank, you always want to have the clownfish and anemones, and
Nemo and yeah.
yeah, and it was a small tank, and I kept getting stung. I'm one of these reefers that's always got their hands in the tank,
Mm-hmm.
and anemones sting. So I kind of I didn't I gave it away.
Yeah, and I've read somewhere that, or somebody said, if you're going to have an anemone in a tank and it's really healthy and doing well, you should probably resign yourself to the fact that you're going to have an anemone tank, and everything else will be negatively affected at some point or other if the thing keeps splitting and growing and doing well. So somebody else said if you isolate them on a rock that's well away from everything, they don't like to cross the sand. So I guess they could become, somebody called it a parachute, but that's not as common as having them wander over the rockwork.
Yes,
Oh,
I would not want to have one. That's for sure.
no. There's Shawn. Shawn, what sort of lights do you have on there?
Well, this is the tricky part. When you had your video with your Orphic strips that you purchased,
Right?
I think that was about 6 months ago, maybe.
Yeah.
I got mine, the same ones you bought, like a week later. So I've had mine for a little over 6 months also.
Yeah.
And they were on an 80-gallon reef tank that I had until I bought my house. So I just bought my house 2.5 months ago, and I set up this tank and transferred over to livestock.
Nice.
And then I purchased some extra lights also. I had 2 Kessel 360Xs, and I had the LED strips. And then I also purchased these new Orphics just so I could really get some punch for the Acropora. I wanted to go for coverage and not have to get T5, so I got the V4 Atlantic Orphics.
Oh, jelly.
And
I'm so jelly.
I really like them. What's really great about them is that they put off a lot of white light, so you don't get that blue coming from them. You get the sunlight, and that's what the torch is really like. The gold torch likes the white color. I've noticed today. I just bought it just a few days ago, actually, and it's my first gold torch. And I had it under blues yesterday, and it wasn't opening up a lot. And then I just so happened opened up my blinds this morning, and a lot of light came in from the sun, and that thing just opened up like crazy. So I said, wow, the gold torch really likes white light.
Wow.
And so I adjusted my whites a little bit today with the Orphics, and I put the Kessels on. Everything else is normal, and I just ramped up the whites to 25% coming from the V4s, and the thing was so open today, it was unbelievable. My wife was like, "It looks great," and she was so excited because she thought I was going to kill it,
Wow.
But I really like torches. I've had good luck with them over the years. And I think I'm in the hobby now 9 years. So, after 9 years, you kind of get a feel for what likes what and what doesn't like what. And I think I have 3 layers of light for this tank. I have the top stuff for Acropora. I have the strips for the very base where the torches are for the most part. And then I have the Kessels for the color. The color from Kessels I just love.
Nice. I'm going to bring Insane Reefer in. Oscar's over here now. Insane Reefer's a little bit famous, I think, anyway, because the very first time he was on my live stream, we spent an hour plus talking about his empty tank. He had just rocks, so he had just started it, and I'm going to pop him in here. There he is. Hey, Oscar, how are you?
Hey, good evening, everybody. How you doing?
Hey, Oscar.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm going to say hi to a few more people in the chat. FC's Reefing. Hey, FC. Lynette Negrete. And she, in reference to Broke Reefman's question, she put hers on a separate rock, the anemone, and it stayed put. So if that's an option for you, maybe that would work. Just got a DIY is here. Hey, Paul. Broke Reefman says both of his are on a rock island, but there's a bird's nest and hammer coral on it. Oh, yeah, well, I guess in time will tell whether they're safe or not. Hey, Johnny Martinez, WVU Reefer, nice to see you. Okay, I think I've said hi to everybody again. So, Oscar, what's up with you these days?
Lots of diatoms.
Yeah, yep.
Everything is starting to look good. I added my first couple of zoas from my upstairs tank into the tank to see how they go.
Yep.
They're doing good for the most part.
Nice.
And as far as the BTAs you guys were talking about a couple of minutes ago, it was Alex who actually mentioned that that they don't like to crawl against it, with the sand.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess that's probably a good option, or the closest you're going to get to a good option with anemones,
And,
unless you resign yourself to it.
I actually got some coral today as well.
Oh.
I went out. I'm guilty of it. Still being very safe. It was more like a go ahead and go pick up. I called the guy. I bought what I was going to buy online, and I just went and picked it up at his house, which is I don't know if you ever heard of Gonzo's.
Oh, I think I have.
Well, he's about an hour and 20 minutes from my house, so I have the luxury of kind of, local pickup.
Porch pickup.
Yes, I got me 2 acroporas. I got me a blue chort.
Nice.
I got me it's an orange and green acropora millipora.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that very nice. I got some pictures of it.
You're going to scrub them down with hand sanitizer, right?
Yeah. And then I got me 3 little heads of Otter Chaos.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. That's something I'm planning on adding to the tank as well.
When they start doing well, they really spread. And they don't take over, though. What I've noticed with mine is they spread within
I got some of those in
area. Shawn, do you? Yeah, and you've noticed when they spread, they don't kill other stuff. They just stop. Wherever they run into something else, they just stop growing that way, and they grow a different way. At least that's what mine have done.
So my plans are, as I said, I have a rock dedicated for zoas. So let me show you real quick. It's better to show you than to talk about it. I'm going to flip my camera here real quick.
Yep. Hey, JV Gwaltney. Nice to see you. All right, we'll see you later.
So I have this little rock. You probably can't see it very well, but I have a couple of frag plugs there with some zoas.
It's pretty good.
Got some,
we can see it.
Yeah,
Here,
I got some
full screen.
Got some LA Lakers. I got some Sunny D's. This top one, I don't know what it is, but it's real beautiful. And the other one in the back, I don't know what that is. And here's my little black storm. He's still doing good.
He looks like he's grown.
I think he has. From the first time that I brought him in, he was a lot smaller. So I'm noticing right now that he's grown a little bit more, I think.
What kind of flow do you have in the tank? It looks like he's swimming really fast or trying to keep up.
What flow? I got 2 MP40s.
Nice.
You can't see them because of the black background, but I got 2 MP40s and I got just the random flow generators that come from the return pump. That's about it.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, here's my little rockscape with all the diatoms.
Yeah.
I really love the scape. Well done.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Like I said, it was intended as a lifted aquascape because my plan is to have SPS dominated here. So I'm kind of doing like a bonsai type of, structure here.
That's really nice. Hey, Chimp the Reefer. Nice to see you. Skookum Chuck Reefer. Hello. They're talking about just got a DIY says he's been spraying all his new frags with Lysol.
One other thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was just going to say, Broke ReefMan is just winding up the anemone thing to say he wants to give them both away, but his wife wants to keep at least one, which will lead to 2 in about a month. Yep, yeah. That's the way it goes.
That's the way it is. And I also want to show you a little project I worked over last weekend. I did not have any screen tops on this tank.
Oh, yeah.
So I built me some with some acrylic corners, as you can see.
What a great idea. Wow, I think you've just solved a problem for me.
And I made them rounded because my tank up on the top, it's rounded on the corners.
Yeah, I remember when you showed us that. That's how the bracing is made.
And
nice.
I didn't spend not even $20 on the materials, so.
Wow.
That's something.
What did you cut it with?
Well, I have a table saw, so basically I just cut it with a table saw, and then I have kind of like a little, how do you call that? Yeah, a grinder. I have a grinder, so I kind of, with a Sharpie, I made the corners accordingly to this, and I kind of grinded it out.
Right.
Does that come out good?
Yeah, it did.
That is really nice.
Yeah, my plans is to get myself a little blue spotted jawfish, so I don't want him jumping out.
Yeah, those guys are notorious for that. Hey, Alex Reyes. Thanks for coming in. We have 25 people watching now. That's awesome. Oh, and some reactors waiting to be put into service.
Oh, yeah, those are nice.
I really like the blue PVC pipes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first intention with the Schedule 80 PVC.
Nice.
That's because your favorite color is blue, Amro.
It is. It's blue is my middle name. Well, in
That's
Spanish.
right.
Everybody, I'm so jealous of sumps that look so kind of polished like this. My sump looks like crap, and it's like a bird nest that I hate having to open it or show it to anybody. But so I'm very envious.
No matter what you do, you just can't keep it looking like mine has water streaks all over the glass and spots everywhere, and I don't want to scrape the glass because the pods are living on there. It's bad.
My insane Reefer sump looks better than my display.
Well, hey, you'd be surprised. I was telling ReefGrrl, this sump right here, I don't know if you remember the Tidal Gardens barbecue when they had one last year in 2018. No.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yep.
No, I'm sorry. 2019 was the barbecue I went to, and I won this little sump right here on the raffle.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a good win.
Yeah. I do have a Trigger Systems some that I'm not using actually right now. But this one's way bigger than the one I have. And this little space right here, I have this little space that is going to be for my trident, because today I got the news that one of my club members, he had bought a trident a couple of months ago, and then he texted me this evening to tell me that he was no longer going to use it. It's brand new in the box and everything,
Wow.
and he's going to do a fish only tank. So he asked me if I wanted to buy it from him, and I said, heck yeah, save it for me. I'm
Yep.
going to go pick it up next week. So
Wow,
yeah.
Oscar, you live under a lucky star or something. That's
Yeah.
great.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because right now, Neptune Systems, they're closed right now. So
Oh,
they're not doing any shipping whatsoever.
right. Yeah, makes
So,
sense. Yep.
But anyway,
Nice. I
So
want to take
I
a
think
look
the
at.
most
Go
I
ahead.
think the most I have in this tank is zoas and pallies. I have probably 16 different species of zoas in here.
Wow.
man,
I was
I
just going
love
to say,
zoas.
Sean,
I
I'm
love
going to pop
zoas.
you up on the screen,
Well, I'll
and
I'll
you
give
can
you a
maybe
quick
take
little
us.
run through of all my colonies.
Sure.
So I got, here's some Otter Chaos here.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Let's see. Here's some more. This is a bigger plug that I have a bunch of them growing out. Then I have some Tubbs Blue, some green ones. I have some Fruit Loops over here. I got a lot of these. I think these are the Blondies. If you could make those out by the MP60. And then the blue Tubbs
Well,
behind them.
They
Then if I
kind of
go
look
on
like
this,
LA Lakers to me.
that's yeah. Some of them were LA Lakers, but I think those might be the Blondies. I'm not sure. So I got a bunch of colonies over here. I think I have purple monsters somewhere. These are the Bam Bams. Those are the green goblins. I think these are eagle eyes mixed with Supermans. And then I think these are the Fruit Loops. I'm not sure. And
You're
I got
almost up there. You're almost up there with Holla at Your Reef Boy. He has a ton of zoas.
this one here is Rastas, and then I think that might be all the colonies, but they're spread out. There's some in between over here too. Got another
so
colony
Sean,
over here. They're like purple. Yeah,
is that a bare bottom tank then?
this is all bare bottom. I always go bare bottom just because for Acropora, I feel like the buildup of the detritus is what always held me back. So every
Yeah.
time I want to keep Acropora, I would rather much have the flow kick it up, and then I don't have to vacuum the bottom so much.
Because I'm seeing more and more tanks like that, and I guess I don't know. I'm wondering whether it's something I might try. I just today asked for the quote for my next tank, and I don't know. I the more I see it, the more I like
I will
it.
say the one thing about. Well, I got Coraline. This tank's been up for 2.5 months, and since I transferred my old rock from my 80-gallon that was up for about 9 months, because we finally bought a home, this rock seeded really well. So the Coraline flew across this rock, and this is all that Reef Saber rock, and it was shelf rock that I put together, and I seeded it with just a few pieces from my 80-gallon, and the Coraline just exploded across the rock. And it's a new tank, so I'm still placing colonies. Like I have some Gonapora down there that I'm trying to put up on the rocks. I have 2 different species of hammers that I still want to get up on the rocks on the lower sections. But I think bare bottom is just so much easier. I have an MP60 kicking one side just to make all the stuff fall onto this side of the tank. And then I
Right.
don't have to vacuum. It's a deep tank, so I don't want to have to get down in there. It just makes my life so much easier. And I used to have a filter roller, but the filter roller always would get snagged. And it would just start turning sideways, and then the alarm would go off, and it would get stuck. And then I would get detritus in my sump. So with this tank, that I did not want that. It's going to be hard enough to keep it clean and blow off the rocks and keep everything happy. So I change the filter socks out almost every day just to keep it clean, because it's a new tank too. So it's going through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's going
So
really good. I'm surprised at how well it's going.
how did your filter roller get snagged? What happened with that?
When you feed well, I call it toilet paper. When you feed the toilet paper onto the roller, sometimes when it pulls it onto the motor, sometimes it pulls it crooked because you get more tension on one side. I have a Clara
Oh,
C5000, and
yeah.
it's the bigger one of the Clara Cs, and so when it would turn it, it would just go sideways, and all of a sudden it has this alarm,
Oh,
and it would go off, and then it's stuck. And if you don't pay attention to it, the alarm's not really loud, and you have to get in there and really unjam it. It's a pain in the neck. And when I
oh
was
boy.
working, I'm a school teacher, and I have a little one. It was kind of hard every day to get in there and fix the filter roller every single time, plus do water changes and take care of the tank
Yeah.
right. So I
Yeah.
have a Clara C5000 just sitting in storage right now that I'm not using just because of
It's
how
supposed to
hard
make
it
it
was.
easy.
It is.
Yeah.
And I had it up for about 6 months, and the first roll was fine, and then I just had continuous problems with it. It would be going real good for 3 weeks, no detritus in the sump, and then all of a sudden I'd come home one night and the thing is stuck. It's overflowed. It's dumped a lot of fresh water because your auto top off goes crazy once the thing fills up and gets clogged. So it was always
Oh, yeah.
playing with it. And
Yeah.
with a filter sock, you don't have to worry about that. As long as you change them on time, you're not going to have this big fluctuation. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to have any fluctuation. Acropora really likes stable waters. Everything likes stable water, but especially Acropora.
Yeah. And who needs another little thing that's constantly on your mind wondering if it's gone wrong when you have a reef tank?
Correct.
There's so many things that could go wrong. Hey, producer Reef, thanks for
It's
coming
a lot
in
of
tonight.
work just keeping the
I
glass
think I said
clean.
hi to Straight Reefer before. Oh, yeah, no kidding. Well, I'm taking it all in, and because my sump is going to be in the basement, I'm seriously considering setting up. This sounds crazy, but there's a reason for it. I'm seriously considering setting up some sort of a waterfall system to go from where the pipe goes down into the overflow vessel. Then I want it to overflow in like a waterfall type thing down into a refugium. And the whole idea behind that is oxygenation to try and help with the pH. And also that's where I would want to put all of my mechanical filter pads and things like that in terraces so that I can get the water filtered so very, very little big stuff gets down into the refugium. Because it's the big stuff that causes the problem. You do need some of the finer stuff to feed what you've got downstream. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really starting to think of different ways that I could accomplish that that aren't kind of normal in the sense that I hate filter socks because I find that even if you wash them in the washing machine, they never look clean. I love the filter pads that you just let them get cruddy and then you replace them. You just throw them away. So
Yep.
I don't know. Still thinking about it.
That sounds like a
Hey,
good
Michael
plan.
Lee.
There's a reefer that I watched called Coral Euphoria,
Yep.
and
Oh, yeah.
I know him.
he introduced me to a concept, and it's basically it's not only is it inexpensive, but it's smart. You just use a fish tank as your sump, and
Yep.
ever since I did that, I'm able to just kick up a power head and completely rid my sump of detritus
Yeah.
daily if I want. And that is the best thing I've incorporated is just not having any blockades in my sump, not having to clean the sump. And I use a Tunzi skimmer. It's the large dock skimmer, and it's like a recirculating skimmer, so it never fluctuates. And I've got one of those Avast swabs on it, and I just kick that thing on, and it cleans it, and I can drain it. And I used to hate skimmers where you have to sit there and twist something, and it would fluctuate constantly,
Yeah.
depending on the water level in your sump. And I completely just turned away from those, and I decided either I was going to get a recirculating reef octopus or if I was going to try something else that was kind of recirculating. And the Tunes has been phenomenal. That's the best purchase I've bought in a long time.
Nice. Hey, Michael
I did
Lee.
get
Came in on
I
things
did-
going
I
wrong.
did-
Yeah.
Sorry to
Sorry.
keep interrupting you.
No.
I I did get a new sea sweep though with the tunes up in the left-hand corner for flow.
That's my plan. That's what I'm going with.
Those things are cool.
I'm debating.
That took a while for it to ship, but it took a while. It takes a while for the manufacturer to ship them, though. I got the tunes in way before the sweep came. But once I got that hooked up, I've noticed everything looks so much better. And the Coraline exploded because the random flow is exactly what I think everything likes.
How many are you running? 1 or 2?
I'm just running one because this is the big tunes. I mean, most people have them in like a 500-gallon tank. And then I have an MP60 at the bottom on the other side. So I got 2 major big pumps running the whole tank. And I think that's pretty good for a 150. That's a lot of flow.
I was thinking about going with 2 because I'm doing all acropora, and I'm just thinking about going overkill. I want that flow to ricochet all over the place.
What kind of sand have you got
well,
there,
Cindy,
Oscar?
I noticed that you had your video up. I think it was 2 weeks ago of your acropora.
Yeah. Yes.
I have no idea what sand this is.
I think you put a video up like 2 weeks ago of your acropora, and that looked really good.
Yep, it's my 8 power heads and my random flow generator nozzle. And people think I'm nuts for having 8 power heads, but let me tell you, I can target flow anywhere. I have no dead spots in my tank. I can't keep low flow corals because I don't have any low flow.
I mean, you could always run them lower and have a more random flow than running them higher, and killing basically your pumps. I think it's better if you're gonna have more wave pumps in the tank. You could always run them at a lower percentage and not overdo it, and you still have that random flow everywhere.
Yep. Well, I have a Hydor Smart Wave with a splitter, so it has 2 plugs on it, and each plug has a splitter in it, so I run 2 pumps on each side. So I have 4 pumps running on that, and I have them go on and off every 15 seconds. And they are distributed through the tank so that I have one on each side aimed down at the back so that detritus doesn't get trapped behind the rocks that are around my overflow. And that goes on and off every 15 seconds. And then the other 2 on that circuit are a little higher up, and they're kind of aimed up at 2 Jabo Nano wave makers. They're the small ones that are on the back glass, and they intersect with those. So every 15 seconds I've got another water direction going into the flow from those. It's really chaotic and all over the place, and I just love it. And then of course there's the random flow generator that just throws the water everywhere.
That's a lot of flow.
Yeah, it is, and I
can tell already just.
And ever since I have 2 Tunzi 6015, well, one 6020 and one 6015 in there right now, and when I aimed those less to the surface and more towards the back of the tank, the overflow on an angle, that's when the acropora really started to get the flow that they need in that location to get the polyps to come out. I really think that's part of it.
Cindy, I wanted to show you one thing. This is like your Molly Hood here. I have 1 Molly in here. Do you see him?
Oh, good for you. It's a female.
That's a big one.
She's been here. She's been in here a long time. I've had her since we had the apartment and we bought the house, and she made the trip. So she does go around and eat a lot of algae, I've noticed. So that's a good thing.
They're constantly grazing. Mollywood has no algae except a couple of spots of turf algae on snail shells and in crevices where they can't reach. And they do a great job.
My wife wanted me to point out one thing. This rock structure in the front, after I built it, it's got 3 levels. And in the center is a cleaner shrimp, and he's on the other side. Let me go to the other side. He's walking on the top now. But my wife loves this guy because he's big, and all the fish go in the middle level right there. And they go in, my wife calls it the car because fish will come in, they get cleaned, and then they exit right underneath that rock right there where he's going back into. So she calls it the car wash. We'll sit there in the morning and have coffee, and here come the fish one at a time. They go in and get cleaned by him. There goes one in the car wash. We hear.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope to have that someday when I don't. Yep, that's really
I like
cool.
them. I've always had cleaner shrimps. The only reason why I don't have one now, it's the only thing I don't like about them is that when you're spot feeding your corals, he is going to go and just rip that food out of whatever he wants. So that's the only
he's
bad
pretty
thing about
aggressive.
them.
He will go after mysis shrimp.
Yeah.
He will go after mysis shrimp. That's for sure.
Johnny Martinez has a question. Johnny, no question is ever a dumb question, but with all the power heads, does it cause a temperature rise? I've never noticed that. I wonder whether the temperature would rise if the water was perhaps flowing less. But I've never really noticed a problem with that. I do check the temperature quite often because I have a
I think it depends if you have AC or not.
I say
possibly.
If you have AC, you should be good. Now, return pumps can warm your water up. I've noticed that. I have a little C-shape pump that I use it to mix my salt water in my 5-gallon bucket. And I don't need a heater to warm it up to 78 degrees because that pump warms up the water up to 78 degrees. So you got to be careful with return pumps, not power heads.
I have a Jabo DCS 7000 and my Fluval E300 heater is right beside it, and it has a screen on it that shows the temperature. So that's awesome. Really that's what I look at. That heater is my backup heater. I do have another 300 watt heater. It's a Finex. It's across the back in the middle of the sump, and that's my main heater.
I think that'll be my next heater is a Finex.
Yeah,
they're pretty good. I have one. I have a 800 watt for my 180.
Yep. Yeah, I have a 500 watt Finex that's on a Pony Eye controller for the 90 that I'm setting up as a transfer tank for when we move, and it's working really well. Sharbuckles Reef just popped in. What?
Are you going to buy a new tank before you get in the new house?
Well, the house is supposed to be finished in November, but with all of the COVID stuff, because they haven't started digging the hole yet, they can't proceed. But they weren't going to start digging until June anyway, so I guess there's a chance that if it's delayed, it won't be by too much. So today I started getting quotes because the builder's asking for specifications so that they can do the proper reinforcement of the floor in that room, because we're having it reinforced to hold a 300-gallon tank, which I discovered today weighs around 4,000 pounds when it's full.
Isn't that amazing?
So it is. It kind of blew my mind slightly. So we have to give him the information. So I'm getting a quote, and that starts the ball rolling.
If I was you, we are reefers. So you have to consider going even way overboard. Because, okay, you might want a 300 now, but who says you're not going to want a 500-gallon down the road?
Well, let's put it this way. The room that it's in is about 10 by 12. It's a little over 10 by 12 feet. And the 10-foot dimension is where the 6-foot dimension of my tank is going. It's going to be 6 feet by 4 feet by 24 inches deep. And I've decided on an exterior coast-to-coast overflow so that I can have it Euro braced and not have problems.
Yeah.
And I don't have any more space than that. So because the 4 feet is going to take up 4 feet of the 12 feet, it only leaves me 8 feet for the rest of the stuff I want in that room, right?
Yeah.
And I'm an age where I think this challenge is going to be quite interesting, and it scares me, and I'm not sure I would ever
a larger
go bigger.
tank is a larger responsibility. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring Sharbuckles Reef in. He's been trying to get in for a few weeks to show us what's going on with his latest tank and Big Mama, his giant Clarky clownfish. So, there we go. Hey Sharbuckle, you're in. How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Shar Buckle?
He says his responses could be a little bit delayed because he's on YouTube, so.
Hey, I see Big Mama.
My responses are going to be really delayed because I don't know if this is going to work.
That's a big clown.
I'm going to make you full screen, Shawn. There we go.
Here, let's try this again.
Does is she aggressive with your fingers?
Sorry, the fish?
Oh, that looks like it's going now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Does she bite if you put your hand in the water?
Yeah, show us.
I can't hear a word you guys are saying. I don't know if this is going to work. I'll try to type responses the best I can. If you want to talk in the chat, you can just leave the video up. I don't know. I can't hear a word you guys are saying still, no matter what we try.
All right, let's see. Amro.
Oh, it's too bad. Sometimes if you disconnect and come back in, I think the last time somebody did that.
I mean, I think the Clarkies have a reputation for being a bit on the aggressive side.
Amro, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm there.
So, Shawn, I put a comment in. Amro wants you to put your hand in to see if the
AmroAzul,
if he bites you.
is that how you say your name?
Yeah, you got it.
AmroAzul.
Well, actually, AmroAzul is just blue because I like blue.
I think it's a great name, AmroAzul TV. It's got a sort of a rhythm to it. Yeah, he says she has a mean streak.
Yeah, I've been scuba diving with, and you go to check out the anemone with these fish, and they just like go straight to your mask and they start like banging against it. They don't like kind of intrusion. They're mean.
So, Shawn, you can't hear us. I'm going to put a comment in here, but I'm going to suggest that maybe Shawn kind of narrates a little bit about what's going on with his tank, what size it is, and all of that.
Yeah, I think you, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you said just narrate about the tank. Is that what you said?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I started the tank it's about a month and a half ago.
I think that's what
was,
you said.
but, oh, sorry, what was that?
No, go ahead.
I thought I heard someone say something. I could be wrong. I'll just start again. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, but yeah, I've had the tank running about a month and a half. It's a CAD Lights 70. Initially, I was going to do just LPS, but I ended up getting a large frag pack from a buddy of mine. So there's a bunch of acros in there and a bunch of Monties and stuff now. So I'm going a different direction. Yeah, I got for wave makers, for the power heads, I got a Tunzi Stream 3 and a Tunzi Nano Stream 6040. They're both DC, providing lots of flow. I got them both at 40%, and so far it's more than enough, which is awesome. We can hear you great. Okay, that's good. You can hear me. If you want to type questions, and I can answer them from the chat. But for lights, I'm using the X30W Pro and Aquatic Life T5 fixture. Everything's going pretty good so far. Looks like diatoms are coming back after about a month and a half. But
I like the Rockscape. I like the Rockscape. Has that nice little arch.
It's really easy. I got it's the Carib Sea Life Rock, and it's only about maybe 6 pieces of it, and it's super easy to escape. It took me like a minute to come up with this, so it's really wicked rock.
I went more with
the Stream 3. The Stream 3 is awesome. You can barely see it right now. Here, let's see if I can move this. You can barely see it just behind the rock work there. And it pushes the flow up and over the rocks. And it's really strong. I've got it running at about 40%, and which is awesome. Leaves me lots of room to dive up as the frags grow in. Oops.
I'm gonna have to set my lights to go off a little bit later. My lights are always off at this time.
Yeah, mine usually are. I actually turn mine on just for. I actually heard you that time, which was great. I just turned mine on just for the stream. They're usually off at 9.
It looks really nice.
That's what I had to do just to get onto the stream. I had to start slowly changing them.
I might do like a preset.
Yeah, I figure if I put lights on for half an hour, it's not the end of the world, you know.
Nice. And what make of tank is this, Shawn?
It's a Cad Lights.
Oh yeah.
Used. Got a really good deal. With it. But a lot of the equipment that came with it was kind of buggy. So other than the tank, I didn't really use anything else that came with it. So I bought a new stand and stuff and everything. But
You can't.
I think it's really. Thanks.
So is Big Mama the only fish in there right now?
Pardon?
Oh, you got a nice light on it, too.
Yeah. Is Big Mama all by herself in there?
No. There's a lawnmower blunny, a Talbot damsel, and I have a shrimp goby in there as well. Back right up the tank. I only see him when I feed the tank.
Oh, right. I remembered you had a bunch of friends for Big Mama when you had the anemone in the other tank, so you decided not to put them in here with her?
No, I sold them a while ago with that tank. It's a long story. I bought 180 gallon, and I was going to set that up, but I had a bunch of setbacks. So Big Mama was the only fish I ended up keeping out of everything I had.
Right.
I see you went the hybrid method. Is that are those little T5s or
Yeah, that's the Aquatic Life T5 with ATI pulse in it. It's just the Radion right now, but
sweet?
Yeah, I just put it on only a couple of days ago, actually, maybe like 3-4 days ago. But it's I don't know, it's great. I've used T5.
I never heard anybody say just a Radion.
I have one XR30.
Yeah.
I have one XR30 on my little 29 gallon, so don't feel bad.
Teeth.
Hey, CamaroKids.
That's a good setup.
CamaroKids wondering if anybody has a water box tank. Can we get water box here in Canada, Shawn? Do you know?
Sorry, can we get what?
Can we get water box tanks here in Canada?
I think as of like last week, because before I bought this tank, I reached out to them, but they wouldn't ship to Canada. We would have to do down there and across the border. But and I'm not that far from the border. I'm maybe a 3 drive, but I'm lazy.
Yeah.
So, but think they're shipping to Canada now.
Oh, interesting. UglyMan's Reefing is wondering about thoughts on the best substrate brand / type for SBS, i.e. not bare bottom. I can tell you one thing. If you want a lot of flow, of course you have to watch the grain size. But I used crushed coral in Mollywood, and I mixed it with just the regular seafloor special grade aragonite. And what happened is the crushed coral also contains little pebbles. I don't know if they're coral, but I really doubt it. I don't know what they are. But you know how nice white rock seasons itself over time and gradually gets darker and darker and darker, which is a good thing. It's what you want. Well, this is what is happening to the crushed coral sand. So the result of that is the sand bed of Mollywood is covered in dark gray pebbles. And I really don't like it. And no matter what I do to stir it up, that stuff always surfaces to the top, comes to the top, and it just looks dirty to me, because there's these little tiny rocks all over the bottom, and they are probably well endowed with bacteria, but they just don't look good. So my experience with crushed coral, I'm going to put this in the next update for Mollywood, is that I probably would not use it again. So part of the reason for using it, of course, would be to keep it in place under high flow. So if you're thinking of something like that and you're going to have high flow, that's been my experience with it. How about you guys? Like Oscar, you're going to have high flow with...
Yeah, the sand that I have, it's a little bit thicker.
Yeah, in 2014.
It's a little bit, it's kind of like a crushed coral, but it's way, way thinner than crushed coral. It probably goes up like about 2 millimeters bigger than, let's say, sugar fine sand.
I used crushed coral a long time ago, and I had the same problem.
Yeah. Yeah, UglyMan said he's just looking at Shar Buckles and he really likes the sand.
Yeah, that's real nice. If you're not going to have a bunch of flow on it. I went with the thicker sand because I know that I'm going to go crazy. Like I said, I'm adding 2 tunsies on it with the sea sweeps. So I'm going to ricochet everything in there.
Yep. Hello, Useless Reefer and True Reef and Marcus's Reef. A whole bunch of you guys just jumped in. Nice to see you. Who else have we got? Yeah, Shar Buckle says just stay away from oolite or sugar-sized sand, which I think you mentioned there, Oscar. Carib Sea aragonite is what that is.
Yep.
What you would say.
I do have sugar fine sand in my little 29, but I don't have a big weight pump on that one. All I have is like a little J-bow. And it still stirs it up a little bit, but not as much to make it snow in the tank.
Right.
Well, one thing that I'll say is that, I mean, if you're considering bare bottom, I think bare bottom is great for many things. But I really like some sand, because a lot of the best grasses that do pest control for a lot of nasties that attack like Acropora and Montipora, they tend to like to sleep in the sand. So in my reef, I have the Fiji pink, which is, it's not like sugar fine, but it's not like crushed coral either. And it doesn't like blow a lot with flow. Actually, I mean, the wrasses disturb it and they kick up the sand a little bit, but for the most part, it's taking. So in my tank, it's a 55 gallon with 2 MP10s and 2 gyres or gyres, and it stays on the bottom for the most part.
Yeah. It's amazing how many choices there are for sand now. I remember the first tank that I set up, there were maybe 3 choices. This is going back probably almost 10 years. And it wasn't the first tank I had, because I was given a tank that had been badly neglected, and that got me started in all of this. but the first one I actually set up myself, you had like 3 choices. There was no such thing as live sand back then. And it was pretty much just Carib Sea, 3 different types, and that was it. And now it's starting to get a little bit confusing.
I went with everything in my tank is dry. So I did go with the Carib Sea, aragonite, but it was a dry sand. It didn't have any bacteria in it, nothing. The way I did it is just a 3 shrimp. I let them rot in there and then did the cycle. And just for safety, I added a couple of bottles of Dr. Tim's, and that's it. And I could say stuff is doing good. I didn't see any negatives in it so far. Diatoms, but that's normal. They'll go away in a couple of weeks.
Yep. Shawn, Benny Fernandez has a question. Do you have any kind of an orange filter lens so we can kind of see what's in your tank a little easier?
I don't know which Shawn you're asking.
Oh, sorry. Shawn's fish tanks. Yeah, Shawn's
are you
fish
asking
tanks.
me?
Yes, please.
If
you
what
have
does he want me to do?
Do you have
What does
any
he want me
kind
to
of a
show?
filter? Do you have any kind
I
of
do
a
have
filter?
filters. I do. I can show you guys. It's a little bit of a mess, but I'll show you. So my filtration goes underneath the tank.
No,
on this
orange,
side, I have a.
Shawn, orange filters to put over your lens so that we can see
I
your
do.
coral? Ah.
Okay.
Awesome.
I got the Orphex. I didn't tell you, Cindy. I
did
bought them
you?
a couple. Yeah, I bought the whole set. It comes
Yep.
with the orange, the yellow, the macro lens, and the other one. I know it's for shots overview. The overview
The polarizing.
shots.
Yeah, the polarizing one. Oh, good. Ah, there we go. Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, this Ghani, I really like. It's probably one of my favorite corals, but it's like a white Ghanapora.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen a white one before, but it's got like little green hairs, but it's mostly white in the center.
Oh, interesting.
Cool.
Those things are very aggressive. If you didn't already know, just to warn you.
And
I used to have a green
I have
one.
like a branching Alvapora. Did you ever see that before? This little one on the edge here.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Those are my
Do you
two.
feed them anything?
You know what? I feed Reefroids a couple times a day, believe it or not. I did notice when I fed Reefroids, the gold torch looked really good too. He's only been here a couple days, so we'll see how he does.
And are you spot feeding or just broadcasting the water column?
I'm broadcasting up top in a gyre. I do have one gyre up top here. It's just a Jabo gyre. And I got it on the lowest setting, and I don't use pulse mode because the Jabo controllers are really bad. So I just set it and I forget about it, and I just use it for surface agitation. And I'll just toss just not even a quarter teaspoon of Reefroids, just a little bit, but everything loves it. Especially my Zoa colonies. The Zoas seem to grow bigger and bigger every time I feed Reefroids.
Nice. Hello, David L. Skookumchuck Reefer. Oh, I think I said hi to you before.
I feed Reefroids when I remember.
I know you guys probably watch Jake Adams, so he's no like person nobody doesn't see, but
Luis
there's
Rosa?
one guy that
Luis Rosa?
Yes.
I'm sorry to
and
interrupt
you. You hit the nail on the head there. He puts the Reefroids in his little auto feeder, and he just has it turned 3 times a day.
Yep.
But I do it manually because I don't want to come home and have to realize, oh, it's a gunky mess, and I've got to, clean and this and that. I do it when I think the corals are hungry and the tank is too clean. So I tend to do it manually.
They need to check that video out. Jake Adams and his friend Luis Rosa. Yeah, they need
That's
to check
a great
that
video.
He has a Red Sea Reefer. I think it's 250. But
Yes,
that thing is jam packed with acropora.
all
Beautiful.
acropora.
Wow. Nice. Hello, Twins Reef. Nice to see you.
This Favia here, though, I picked this one up in Miami, visiting family down there, and it's one of the, I think they call it a dragon scale Favia. It's got orange and green. One of my lights just kicked off, but it's got all different kinds of color. But it came with a pest, believe it or not, and I didn't even know it. I had just started getting this reef tank together in my old system, so I've had it for about a year now, but it had I think it had a fireworm inside of it.
Oh my
one night
God.
I came out at night and I just see this thing coming out of the side of it, and I'm wondering why it's dying on me, and it didn't have all this good color as when I bought it. So I ended up having to dip it with some Bear, and after I dipped it, the coral came back. I just dipped it maybe 2 months ago before I moved into the house, and the colors are finally looking good, and it's starting to grow again. But it was definitely like a big, thick fireworm living inside of it.
Has a nice color
Wow.
to it. It's a real nice
Yep.
Favia.
I love Favias. I ended up getting a bunch of these little magnets back here, kind of like Jake Adams. I got 12 of them. I didn't get a chance to put them in because I didn't want to piss off the gold torch. I want to try to keep my hands out of the tank while I got this gold torch in there for a little while. But I want to put some Favias on the back glass. If I can get more Favias, I would love to put them on magnets.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Will they stick to the glass?
If
You
you watch
think they might
Jake,
stick to the glass?
they'll probably stick to the glass. But I know Jake Adams has, before he started the studio, he had his 60-gallon. Did you ever see his old 60-gallon tank? About 4 years ago, he had a reef tank, and it was all acropora, but he had like 7 Favias on magnets in the back. And it
I know
looked
he
really,
has sun
really
coral.
pretty.
I know he has some sun coral on some magnets, but that's about it.
He had sun coral, I think. When he bought the tank, I think the person had some sun coral, and he ended up putting it in the sump. And then he's got a weeping willow in there. I think everybody probably seen the video. It's got that weeping willow, leather coral. He's got all kinds of acropora. But if you look on his last video, I think it's vlog 12 when he bought that studio. He was breaking down the tank, so he had like a final view of it. And on the very back glass, he had, I think it must have been at least 5 Favias on magnets.
Sweet.
Cool. That's cool.
If I do have any, which I'm pretty sure I will, I'm going to try to keep them in the sand bed. It's just, I don't know if they're low light or mid light.
Well, my
Yeah.
war coral is a Favia, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one. It's on the left side of my tank, and I've always had it down on the sand, and it's always been in somewhat low light, and that thing grows like crazy. And it's probably 6 or 7 inches in diameter now, and it's still growing. It's starting to crawl up the rock, and so I would say yes, like lower light. They
Yes.
really, really thrive.
I had a similar piece to that back when I lived in Connecticut 4 years ago. I had a Favia. It was like a species of war coral, but it was mostly red. And it took over a whole rock. I mean, it got to be about 10 inches. And I ended up fragging it and selling it at the frag farmers market along with a bunch of torches that I had. Because back then I had really good luck growing torches. So I'm hoping to bring that back and start growing my torches.
That's one of the things I'm looking forward to with getting more space, is to be able to grow some of these things out a little bit more, because of course when they start touching each other, you got trouble.
And Favias are real aggressive, especially next to Micromusa lords. So you don't want them close to them.
Well, and here's a surprise for you all, if you haven't heard of this. Leptocerus is also extremely aggressive, and I have video of my green goblin Leptocerus attacking my pagoda coral to the point where there's probably a ½ an inch of dead tissue along the growing edge where it was starting to encrust. And the Leptocerus, when I shine the light in there at night, the tentacles are probably 2 inches long, going
Wow.
over and stinging it. And that's I've never seen tentacles on those things. I never knew they were aggressive, but
I
there you
thought they
go.
were like the I thought they were like the Cephastria, to where it's encrusted,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
has like small polyps. I never knew that
yeah,
they did have any sweepers.
yeah, yeah. Well, thanks, Shawn's Fish Tanks. That was a good tour, and Sharbuckles is back, and he says the phone he's got now works. So let's see what he's got going on.
It does. It works perfectly. It turns out my iPhone's just a piece of junk. I went upstairs and stole my girlfriend's phone. So we're good.
Oh, this is a good shot. This is a good shot, Shawn. I really like how it shows the sump and everything too.
Yeah. Yeah, I decided to keep it open so you can kind of see what's going on. And if anything's, going wrong down there, I can see it as I walk by the tank too. So
Yeah.
It's always a plus when you could have full access to the bottom of your tank, rather than having to, dodge doors and all that to be able to clean your sump.
yeah, for sure. And that's kind of the reason why I kept it open. That black sand is the standard thing of the tank.
Yeah.
But it's just so cramped, and I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I just got this industrial shelving unit that's rated to like 3,000 pounds. So
I can access my sump from 3 sides of the tank.
yeah,
Because
same,
I have a metal stand, and what I did is I built the wood around it. I did the cabinetry on it, and the drawers on it, I could actually just pop them out and put them to the side and have full access to the bottom of the tank.
I was
Nice.
thinking about doing something like that, maybe just getting some panels with magnets on it that I can just slap onto the stand, and just take them off really easy. But I don't know. It's in kind of the basement fish room, so aesthetics on the stand don't bother me too much, I guess.
Digging with Cruzy has a question. Do you think black boxes cause algae? I'm starting to think so. I wouldn't say black boxes are the cause of algae, but
It's more the
any
intensity.
kind of light will impact algae growth, but it's more nutrients.
Yeah, nutrients, maybe light being on too long.
Yep, possibly.
I think the spectrum also could have an effect, right? So I mean, there's a reason that the algae lights, the diffuse lights, are in a specific spectrum.
Yep.
Well, I know
Very
a lot
true.
of the black box makers, they make aquarium lighting, and they also make grow room lighting in the same factories, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe you get the wrong spectrum by accident and end up with a light that can grow plants, but not coral.
I like to see it to where he could change his lights and not have any problem whatsoever. I have to be unplugging my Reef Link for a couple of seconds and plugging it back in to be able to mess with my lights. I just can't wait till they get this Mobius ready to go for everybody, so I can enjoy
Yeah,
that.
that's gonna be cool.
Well, I have 2
I was
black
thinking about
boxes over.
Yeah,
No, go ahead,
one
Shawn.
of the G5 units.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about upgrading one of the G5 units, but I bought this one. It's a G3,
I'm already using
but I bought it.
I'm already using the
maybe a year
Mobius for my
ago.
calc reactor.
Well,
Sorry, the Shawns are talking at the same time.
do you have the Versas? Because they do work with the Versas. The app can work, but
I'm going to be getting some verses in the next couple of weeks.
you know what kills me is that I bought my G4 Pros.
That's what I'm using. I'm using the Versa. I have a Versa and I have a
I bought my G4 Pros 2 months before the G5s came out, and I didn't even know the lights were coming out.
They're still solid lights, though, man. Like those G4s should last you 8 years, man. Like without having to upgrade.
I like the shimmer. I like the shimmer on it. I'm not complaining because they're great lights.
Oh yeah,
It's-
absolutely.
But I already have them.
But if you bought the G4s that recently, they should be compatible with Mobius, right? When it's fully launched.
They're doing the beta. They're running the beta. Is what they're doing. I had spoken to one of the representatives of Ecotech a couple of weeks ago, and he said somewhere, I don't want to say, but he said they were working on it to be able to run them for everybody on mid-April. But
Nice.
with all this stuff going on, it's just has delayed everything. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's delayed the whole
Yeah,
world, man.
No doubt. Hey, holla at your reef boy. Welcome.
Yeah, I was just talking about him a couple of minutes ago about
Yeah.
his beautiful Zoa tank.
Yeah. Yeah. We got everybody in here tonight. 33 people. Wow. Awesome. And Shawn's fish tanks, the quality of your video right now is awesome. It's really, really clear.
Yeah, what are you using? What is he streaming with? I'd love to know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
think there's
good.
A bit of a
I'm just using an iPhone X, and I have the Orphic lens on there.
Oh, that's right.
You know, those are pretty good, man. I spend the money on them, and I didn't even spend that much. And you
Yep.
can't go wrong with them
Right
things.
now. I'm using the iPhone X.
That's the one I
Yep.
have.
awesome.
Yeah. It's actually the camera on it is what I really like. The camera is better actually than my shooting camera when I do videos.
That's amazing.
And the macros.
And I got
macro
the
shots,
Orphic lens on there right now. My
Yeah, this
tank is
picture
slowly
is-
getting dimmer now, though. I think the
Yeah.
last thing that'll be on will be the Kessels.
Yeah, this picture behind me is with the Orphic lenses. And actually, I think it's just the 20K lens. I don't think I had the 15K on top of it. I always go by the color on the yellow hammer. Right.
so the
where
20K,
is
the
it?
20K is the orange
there.
one, right?
The 20K is a little more yellow.
I think this one here is both.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the nice thing about them is that you can screw them on together, all
Yes.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
And then you could,
This camera's going all screwy. I think it's auto
Yeah,
balancing
you can
or
stack
something
them.
on this
Oh.
camera.
It's going psycho.
He has the disco ball effect in there.
Yeah. Digging with
Oh.
Cruzy has another question here. Got a big question. He's about to do flooring in his house and has to remove everything in his aquarium to move it. Does he have to start over with the cycle? So what do you think, guys?
I say if he has another tank to where he could transfer everything, or maybe one of them big brute trash cans, I think that'll work. But he'll have to basically, if he's doing two-part, just I don't know. As far as that, he'll probably have to put lights over it, and
Yeah, I guess the big question is how long is it going to have to be out of the way? Is it a couple of hours while you do that part of the room, or is it going to be a couple of days? Because if you keep all the water and all the rock, a lot of times depends how old the tank is too, whether you can keep the sand, or if you
that's the tricky
need-
part, is the sand
yeah.
and how long it's going to stay stagnant.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Hey, D's Aquariums. D's Aquariums is in the house saying, hey, everybody. Calypso says it will go through a cycle. Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the sand, with stirring it up, because there's stuff down there that
And thing is,
changes the balance of things.
yep. And thing is, chances are he's probably going to have to wash that sand if it's, wash it and add it again. But I wouldn't leave it like that, stagnant overnight or whatever.
No, you need to keep flow. Oh, we lost Shar Buckle. I noticed he was sideways there for a second.
And where's Hector? Hector doesn't want to come in today, huh? I want to see. I want to see what he has going on.
Who makes Live Rock Enhance? I've heard of that.
I think that I think that's Reef. I believe it
Live Rock
is.
Enhance?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. Isn't it the people who does Benepets or Reef or whatever it is?
AZ
I think so.
Reefer, is that a bacterial product?
Yeah, it cleans up your rock real nice. It's a
Oh, look.
bacteria. Yeah.
You threw it down, and there's Hector.
Oh yeah. What's going on, man? See, I called you in.
Not much, man.
How are the Twin Cities doing?
What happened?
How are the Twin Cities doing?
Oof. You guys don't want to see it. I'm doing changes.
Yes, we do.
Yeah? All right.
Reef Bright. Carlos23. Hey, Carlos23. Says Reef Bright. Made by Reef Bright, Live Rock Enhance. Hey, Casey Nano. Everyone's coming out of the lurking to answer a question. That's awesome. Yep, everybody's saying Reef Bright makes it.
They look good to me.
Well, this one's still the same. But this one not.
Let's pop
That one looks emptier.
Yeah, look what I got back there. Look.
Was that great? A GSP?
No,
What is
look
that?
at the
Elegance? The Elegance
so
Coral?
thick.
Oh, yeah. I think you did post something on Instagram the other day.
Yeah,
I was looking at. Yeah. I got me my first millipora today.
I don't know the names, but they doing good.
Nice.
Yeah, I just moved the rock that I have over here, and just create that other arch right there, and just have those acros there for now, and see how they do with my cheap light.
Those are pretty good lights, man.
Yeah, they do. Listen, I'm so speechless. I don't know what to think. This light is doing miracles.
And they're so easy with the app.
Yeah. No, this one, no app. It's just straight controller. That's it.
Okay.
This is no fancy light. This is cheap light.
Isn't that an AI?
No. It looks like it.
It looks like it. I thought it was an AI.
No. See, this is those Pixie 30s.
Hey, I say if it works, why change it, huh?
Yeah, it's doing the job.
And how's the par in that area where you have that
around 200.
200 par?
Yep. Yeah. Like usually, like the top side 200, the middle side 160, bottom 100.
Man, I don't even have mine cranked up so high. I'm running mine right now at 32%. I'm probably getting a 175 par at the top.
Yeah. I just put it like that because of the acros. I didn't want to change when I got them. I didn't want to change the par they were under, and they're doing good so far. So good.
Yeah,
can't complain. I got acros.
Yeah.
And the other rock, I got it out here. It's down here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's okay down there. A little bit mad because my boy Drama D sent me a skimmer on the first. Supposedly we got delivered, and nope, never got it. They stole it. I think they stole it. They stole the box, not knowing what was inside.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Hey, good night, Amro. Thanks very much for coming in tonight.
Hey, have a good night, man.
You have fun too.
Yeah, good night.
Show you guys the fragging stein.
I got me a little 29 gallon because I want to do that too. Yeah. I kind of want to have my corals and all that in the 20.
Yep.
And kind of quarantine them or observe them before I put them in the big tank.
Yeah, man, it's the best thing to do. I mean, this one I just do it for fun, just to grow the corals. But it's serving a purpose. I mean,
Yeah.
I sell corals from it. I traded for this Air Prime, a new one.
Oh yeah.
So four
Are you
frags.
dosing? Are you dosing that tank, or is it just water
Just
changes?
cold water. No, no water changes.
Oh, cow water.
Yeah, cold water. Yeah, cold
Nice.
water and dosing aminos, um, aminos, Phyto, Doctor. What is it? Brightwell's Phyto.
Right. Well.
Yeah. Amino is the fuel.
Okay.
Aminos, I got on the own bottle, and I dose this for the zoas. This helps a lot. The zoas, man.
What is that?
Is it a dip, Hector?
Iodine.
Iodine.
Oh yeah.
The one from the pharmacy. Yeah.
Now I've heard you got to be real careful with that.
Yeah.
As far as.
Yeah, if you can test it, then don't go crazy dosing it. But all I do is 5 drops a week.
Now, does anybody have any experience with the? Because I just bought my bio kit from Reef Boosters. I'm sorry, not Reef Boosters. Prodibio. I bought the bio kit, and it brings everything. It brings iodine, strontium. It brings Reef Boosters. It brings a bunch of stuff, but I don't know if the iodine that it brings, because they say you can't overdose Prodivio. I've been using Reef Boosters, but I never use like the other stuff that they have, like the iodine and all that stuff.
I mean, for my thinking, the way I think that works, it just either follow the bottle's instructions, and all depend how much you got in your tank that's gonna consume what you put it in.
Yeah, I got a bunch of corals.
And
and I've noticed like every time I do a water change, everything comes up looking real nice, and like 3 days later, it starts again to like not look as good as it looks when I do a water change. So it's like every time I do a water change, everything comes right back up again.
Those trace elements.
Yeah. I think it's consuming trace elements faster than I can do a water change for them.
Yeah.
So, are you guys up for a little bit of troubleshooting to help somebody out?
If it's in my field, we could try.
We can talk about it. JV Gwaltney has a question, and he's put a couple comments over here to explain things. So let me put them up on the screen. Hey, JV. Glad you could join us again. He has a 45-gallon Red Sea Max 170 all-in-one. It's 7 months old. Stable parameters, typically 9.5 alk, 440 calcium, pH 8.1, temperature 78, nitrate 3 to 5, phosphate 0.03 to 0.08. That sounds good.
It looks good to me.
Yep. So he has 2 torches, 2 frog spawn, 2 hammers, so all Euphilia there, Duncan, candy cane, and a few zoas, along with a small patch of GSP. Everything is small. He has 2 clowns and 1 tang. Okay, so that's the livestock.
Okay.
So the question is, nothing is really growing, but the tank consumes 35 milliliters of alk to maintain the 9.5. And the question is that with no SPS or obvious growth, why would the tank be consuming this much alk?
Does he have Coraline algae?
Yeah, that was just what I was wondering, because he doesn't mention what his magnesium readings are.
His fish could be growing too.
Or is that just not as much as he's thinking it is? Well, what
Your
are you
fish
actually...
will use your...
What product are you using, JV?
I mean, he didn't put anything about his magnesium. Parameters do look good. I don't think it's an imbalance of magnesium. I just think it's probably the Coraline algae is consuming the alkalinity.
For sure.
Yep. Let me see if he's answered the question. He says not much Coraline, and Meg is over 1400. He's using the BRS I'm assuming 2-part. How often are you doing water changes, JV? I'm wondering about the levels in your salt mix, whether I don't know, that
Exactly.
wouldn't make
I would, yeah.
if his parameters are stable at 9.5, 440, and 1400. I wonder whether things drop down before a water change or drop down after a water change and have to catch up, maybe.
It could all depend on how much water he's changing, because if he's only doing like a 10%, I don't think it will affect his value that much. I mean, if he's doing aggressive water changes like 50%,
yeah,
it could drop a couple of points.
Yeah, 15 gallons once a month, so that would be 30%. If it's a 45 gallon, which actually after displacement is usually less than that, it's probably closer to 38.
I would tell him to test his salt to see where it's at. Some salts run real low, like 7.2 to 8.
Yeah.
So he might want to check that.
Yeah.
So
kind of buffer
Fritz
it
is
up.
A lower.
Buffer it up before he does a water change. Test his water before and test his salt water, and just buffer it up to whatever his values are.
Yeah, because the point there is that if things are swinging and moving around a lot, it seems stable, but if it drops down a lot before your water change, or if your water change drops it, that could inhibit the growth, especially with Euphyllia.
Could always use reef crystals or a salt that has higher alkalinity.
Yeah, we're getting KC Nano test your saltwater mix.
I use the Brightwell. That one usually runs around 7.2. I usually buffer it up before I do a water change. If I'm going to do more than 5 gallons, I buffer it up a little bit.
I switched to the Fritz Pro.
Yeah.
I used to use that one, but I noticed on that one that my alkalinity was dropping way too fast. So I switched.
Yeah, the thing is, this is where continual monitoring systems for these kinds of things really help, because it may be true that your alkalinity is at that point when you test it, but you don't know what it is other times. And it could be going high and low between the tests, and you wouldn't realize it unless you've got some way of monitoring it. I'm seriously looking at doing something for the next tank so that I know what's going on all the time instead of once a week or once every 10 days when I test. And AZ Reefer is wondering about precipitation, because if you're, so you have a 170. It's an all-in-one, so the assumption is you're dosing into the back section. So
that's another thing.
If you're dosing in there and it's getting drawn up and pushed out anywhere near the corals so that maybe little bits of stuff is falling on them if there is precipitation, or who knows? It's hard to say.
If his pumps are real brown, like has a brown dust all over it, that could be participation. So that's another thing. But I figure his values will go all out of whack if that's happening anyway.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to maintain.
Well, and the tank is 7 months old and stuff isn't growing a lot. And I would venture to say
Euphyllias don't grow as fast, because mine, they don't grow as fast.
No. And who knows, maybe it's the nutrients, the 0.03 to 0.05 maybe is too low for phosphate. Hard to say.
I'd say that Shawn, just test your salt, your new salt mix, and just make sure it's if it's, let's say, 7.2 and you're running your tank at 9.5 or whatever it is, just buffer it up a little bit before you do a water change.
Yeah, that's what he said. He brings it up to 9.5 before he does the water change, before he adds it. Neptune dose system 4 different times during the day. Oh, so you spread it out. Well, that's good. And do you separate your calcium from your alkalinity by at least 30 minutes? Because that will contribute to precipitation if you dose them too close together.
That's what I do. I run mine. I'm doing 5 mils a day of each, and I separate them. I do one like every 4 hours, and
Yeah.
then I do another one after that, and then it just maintains everything stable throughout the day.
I'm just dosing Kalkwasser right now. That's all I use.
I'm scared of Kalkwasser. I never used it, but I heard you got to be real careful with that. It could bring up your pH up to 15 or 20 or whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
I monitor it with my Apex.
Yeah, it depends how you do it. When I started mixing mine, when I started using Kalkwasser, I only use a half strength. So instead of 2 teaspoons of the ESV calcium hydroxide, I just put 1 in a gallon. And for 2 reasons. One is that there's less chance of burning anything. And the second is that there's less chance of clogging up the hoses in the delivery system.
Will you still test it? Will you still
Yep.
test it like you test alkalinity?
Oh,
every
yeah.
now and then?
Yeah.
Every like hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the reasons I started using Kalkwasser was to help boost pH. And it helped. Not much, didn't make a big change, but it helped. And now I'm at the stage where I'm dosing about 120 mils a day of the half strength, so 60 mils a day if it were full strength. I spread it out over 12 doses, and it seems to really be helping. I think it's contributing to the crazy growth.
Yeah.
Because it also helps with stability too, because it's
Yes,
the
it does.
calcium and
Well, it's an
carb.
all-in-one basically.
Yep.
It's like running a calcium reactor, but without all the fancy mechanism and all that.
Yeah. So
That's why I love
so I
it.
mean, from
Yeah.
that perspective, it's I'm very happy with it. So I don't know,
Yeah, I
JV.
use the,
I don't know what the answer is for JV. Maybe it is just to wait and see how things are, because this hammer right here, the yellow one, I bought in November last year, and it was only 2 heads and it was small, and in about the last 2 weeks I've noticed it's now 4 heads and it's the size of a tennis ball instead of the size of a golf ball.
Excuse me.
I bought one. It has one head ever since I bought it, a hammer, and it just has that one head. I don't know if they split, like,
Yeah, they
and then
do.
grow like a head from the middle. I don't know how they do it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
mine has been the same ever since I've had it, and I've had mine for at least 7 months.
Yeah.
I will say for him to move the corals around, increase the flow. That's all I could think of. Because that's
maybe
what
start
happens
using
to
some
me a couple times.
Kalkwasser.
Yeah, and Kalkwasser.
Yeah.
That's
And
the miracle
Jade-
mud for us.
Yep. And JV, AmroAzul TV just did a video on dosing, and you might want to check that out. Casey Nano's pointing out dose during the photo period when you can. So, yeah,
So
maybe a
so
couple
I
things to
purchased
try.
with my new system. I purchased a calc stir. It's a ice cac, and it has the magnetic calc stir. And I hooked it up to my Versa, and it continuously doses, I think, 3 mLs per minute into my sump. And I put in about a teaspoon of calc every other day into the reactor.
Hmm.
So now, do you continually feed that reactor with RDI?
I do. I have a 50-gallon drum that I fill up, and I got it from like a Tractor Supply store. And then my Versa sucks it from my storage room underneath the house to my fish tank, and then drips it into my tank 3 mLs per minute. So my auto top off is a float valve, and it barely gets used because of that Versa.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't use my Kalkwasser as an ATO. It's just
I do.
it's in a container. Well, I did the very first time I tried it. I did it as an ATO, but then I started bubble scrubbing. So you get the evaporation, and all of a sudden your alk goes from 8 to 15 because of the evaporation, right? So
Yeah.
that's
True.
how you learn.
I have a question about lighting, Cindy. If you could help me out here real quick.
Sure, I can try.
Okay. I bought a. I told you I bought a millipore today, and a
Yep.
blue tort. I blue tort. Let me center myself. I don't know why my head is kind of like off. Okay, here we go.
All right.
So I bought a millipore and I bought a blue tort today. I put them in my little 29. It's about mid tank right now. When I did the par reading, it was around 75 par. That was just already with the lights kind of dimming. I'd say like around midday, it'll probably be around 100 par. Where I got it from, the guy is running at least 300 par on that same coral. Will it still affect it as far as just going all willy-nilly and just putting it at mid-tank with the LEDs?
So what? Let me think now. You said you
he's
had
running.
you have a
He's running.
Radeon?
Well, I have Radeon. I have a Gen 2 Radeon on the 29. The guy is actually running metal halides and T5s, but
Well-
his par is up to 300, where that coral came from.
Well, what I would say, I mean, what I've learned is you'll never kill a coral with not enough light, whereas you will kill it if you give it too much light. So are your lights low now because you're trying to ramp them up, or is that what they always are?
Well, that's what they basically always are.
Always are. So the max you can give it is 100, you said?
No, right now I have mine. I have mine right now at 32%.
Right.
And right
oh,
now
I
they're
see.
running
Okay.
around. Yeah, they're running around 100 or maybe 150 par at where I have it right now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, my question is, even though I just basically just put that coral there, will it still, even at being at 150 par, will it still kill it? As far as it being too much light for it, even though it came from a high range par.
I wouldn't think so. I mean,
Me
I'm starting to get a little more experience with. I have a tort that's taken over the world right now. It's a Miyagi, and that thing
Those
is
are great.
in the middle. It's middle of my tank. So my guess for par right there would be under 200.
Okay.
And the color on it is amazing. It's a deep emerald green with bright purple at the ends of the branches, and then a neon green right at the very, very tip of the growing branches. And the thing looks gorgeous. And I'm only guessing because although last week I said this week I was going to check par, of course I didn't get around to it. But you know what? Now that we've talked about this, I will make a point of doing it this week, and I'll let you know what the par actually is. But my guess would be that it's not even 200 where it is right now.
Yeah.
My experience with millies is they like a lot of bubble scrubbing. They like really clean water.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Mine is not too bad. I'd say my nitrates are around 10. That's they've always run around 25, and they don't go up or down from there. But right
Shall I
now
shock
they're
you?
around 10.
I'll shock you and tell you mine
and
were
then
50.
And then the last time I checked my PO4, it was at 0.5. So
0.05?
I'm sorry, 0.05.
0.05,
say,
yeah. Yeah, my nitrates were 50 last time I tested.
Wow, that's high.
And I know it's bad. And
Hey,
you know what's funny?
Talk to Mark Levinson.
Everything still looked okay. It didn't look like anything was suffering, but I did notice my polyp extension during the daytime on my acros was not what it had been. So I've done 3 water changes, just my regular 10 gallons in the last 4 days, and I'm going to be doing another one tomorrow. And I'm noticing polyp extension during the day, so I'm expecting my next nitrate test to be lower.
I think it was Sanjay Oshii had his big 500-gallon reef at 50 nitrates at one point or something like that. So I don't think it's such a bad thing.
No, well, the
I
phosphate is 0.11, which is not horrible.
No, that's not bad.
I've had mine to 0.19.
Yep. Oh, I've had mine to
Yep.
0.302. And
Yeah,
that was
me
not
too.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Kevin Jones, Rob's Aquariums, Louis Gigliotti. How's my nano tank? You mean Mollywood, Luis? Yes, Mollywood, the 40-gallon. It's doing great right now. Yeah.
Are you going to miss those tanks when you upgrade?
I am, and
I think you'll miss the fact that they're small.
I have come very close to shedding tears thinking of what I'm going to lose when I move this reef, because it's scaring me, and I have. The nice thing is that with the way things are going right now, I have a little bit longer to let that 90-gallon mature before I start moving things. I did move a Lobo Philia over just to see how it would do, and I think I'm going to start moving the frags that I have to see how they do, because I have some Montipora and some Possilopora frags, and I'm going to see how they do in there before I start breaking up the rocks and moving them.
You could always
Those are good test pieces.
You could always bank some corals. Have a friend who could maybe, keep a couple of frags just in case.
Yeah, I might have to talk to the local fish store and see if he can babysit some for me, because I'm very concerned about things. Well, like the fox coral, this guy right here, is huge, and I don't know that there's going to be enough space for it in the smaller footprint of the 90. So, yeah, it's not fun. But anyway, as far as nutrients go, if I'm going to take it from 50 nitrates, 0.11 phosphates, down to 20 nitrates and 0.00 phosphates, because I have nothing in there yet, right?
Yeah.
That's a concern.
Yeah.
It's,
it's a drop. It's a real big drop.
Yep. I might have to start swapping out water. Take, 10 gallons from this tank. Instead of pumping it down the drain, I'll just pump it out, take it over and swap it out into that tank, and do that for a couple of weeks and see if that gives me any peace of mind. But I honestly don't know.
I think that's the best way to go. Use the same water that you're changing from here and change it over there.
Take some handfuls or some cups full of sand and move it over. Oh, Easy Reefer has to go. Good night, Easy Reefer. Thanks for coming by. I just got to keep it. Yes, Tropic Marin did solve my phosphate problem. Definitely. And I just wish now that I could get it in Canada. I had to restock ordering it from Amazon in the UK again.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Carlos. Carlos with the magic tank. Nitrates are 25 and phosphate 0.18. No problems. Yep.
Yeah. I think that's a good range. I don't know. If they were up to 100, I think you would have to maybe be concerned, but I don't think 25 nitrates is that bad.
No, I think it's stability too, if it's always that.
And they'll always adapt anyway.
Everything gets used to it.
That and keep it up with your husbandry.
Yeah, definitely.
I try to do a water change every 2 weeks at least. I never let it go by more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a good policy, I think.
Yeah, so what about a water change on a 300-gallon? Right now I do 10 gallons, and that's 10%.
10%, 30 gallons.
Water.
Yes, it is. That your bucket of salt, like in 4 water changes, I think it's over with.
I might have to do some begging and groveling and see if I can get somebody to supply me with some salt.
Get yourself a sponsor.
Yeah, well, because the thing is, it's it's the startup, right? Because it's not just the 300 display. It's going to be the other 150 or 200 that I have in the sump area, between a refugium and a sump and the overflow tank, which I want to turn into my water change tank, so that I divert the water away from it, I empty it, I refill it, then let the water start flowing through it again, and that becomes my water change.
If
So,
you ever
yeah.
got to see, if you ever got to see a video of Rico's aquarium when he had the big problem about all the RTN in his tank, they basically send him a pallet of salt.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but I don't want to go down that road.
And that was only a 500 gallon, you know?
Yeah. Skookum Chuck says keep the water. Yeah, I'm thinking that might be a good idea, is to try and transfer as much water as I can.
When I moved into this house, that's what I did when I broke down my 80 and set up the 150. I took most of the water. And my only prize at that point that I definitely didn't want to lose, I lost. I made one. I had a gold hammer. Well, it was more like an orange hammer that I picked up. And it was probably my best looking Euphilia at the time, just 3 months ago. And I don't know what happened. I think during transport, I had it in 2 separate smaller tanks, and I think my auto top off stuck on one of them. So the salinity went really low, and it was the only coral that got really, really upset in that tank. And I just lost it. Once it started dying, it was done.
They're tricky too. They're a little bit.
It's hard to bring them back.
It is.
I wouldn't say that they're easy corals to keep. I mean, you still got to be careful what you do with those corals.
Yeah.
Because mine was almost going, downhill. It was having some polyp bailouts on it, and it stopped now. But you could see that my hammer has shorter tentacles in some parts.
Yeah.
You cannot see you can't see the bone, but you could see it has shorter tentacles. They don't extend as much as the corner. I don't know if it's because of the lighting that it doesn't reach it to where it needs to reach. It could be that.
Sometimes it's flow. If they get a lot of flow and they don't like it, especially hammers, they don't really like a lot of flow.
No.
The one that I have is down in the front, and it gets a lot of random flow, but nothing really intense. It's probably the closest spot I have to low flow.
Not the hurricane type flow that.
No. I mean, torches can handle more of it, but not even all torches can handle super heavy flow.
What I've read is that torches like to be mounted sideways, and I think hammers do too. If you mount them where their head is facing up, they don't do as well. But if you mount them like at an angle, just like a torch, they tend to do a lot better. Because I have 3 different types of hammers. One is mounted, and the one that I mounted is humongous now. But the 2 that I have on frag plugs, they haven't even grown at all.
Yeah.
In the 2 months that I put this into this tank.
Like, look what Hector's showing us here.
And that's a little on an angle. Yeah.
Yeah, I've read that stimulates growth and splitting of the heads because it gets more light into the center of the colony too.
Yeah, that's what happened with this one now.
Yeah, definitely put it on an angle. It looks so much better.
Yeah.
That looks great.
Mine is straight up. Mine is looking straight up.
Yeah, my hammer that's down low, the yellow one. So what's a good price for torches these days? ATF in the house would like to know.
Not the gold ones. Not the gold ones.
Yeah, gold ones. You're looking you ain't looking at anything for less than $300 on golds.
At least.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they're very sensitive. The gold ones, you have to be very careful. They definitely don't like a lot of flow.
I'll wait until I get one free. I'm not paying $300. I'm so sorry.
I bought a little gold cristata, thinking it was an Aussie gold, and it wasn't.
Oh, the cristata, that's the grape torch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that.
Yeah.
Mine
Yeah.
is gold with the purple tips, and I thought
Mhm.
it was an Aussie gold when I bought it.
Mhm.
I got it for $60. I'm like, oh, it was a ripoff. It was a ripoff. No, it wasn't. That's a regular price for those, but
Mhm.
I still like
Mhm.
it. It's still a pretty cool.
The thing is, if you've ever seen a large colony of that particular like the Cristata the grape torch, they are gorgeous. They because each little head is like it's not big. They're about the size of a grape, right?
Yeah,
And the sort of surface texture that it forms is amazing. If you see large areas of it, it's really really nice.
Yeah.
I'll wait for mine to come for free. Mm-mm. I will
Scoop and
never
Chuck.
pay
No,
that much
no, me
for.
neither.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
No.
That's insane.
Skookum Chuck is on his way to get brownies and ice cream. So good night, Skookum Chuck.
Nice.
Thanks for coming by.
I'd be leaving too.
Especially now, being going a lot to my LFS, and
Yeah.
he's showing me all the tricks and prices and what they pay for and all that. Nope, I will never pay that much for a torch.
Yeah.
They pay cheap.
yeah. I'm more like in the $20 range as far as when it comes to zoanthids and
Yeah,
euphyllias and stuff like that. I do tend to go up a little bit more when it comes to acropora because I like them,
Yeah.
and there's
I
not
mean,
many $20 options out there
yeah.
for
As long as
acros.
if you really like it, I mean, you will pay anything for it. Like when it comes to that, if I really like something, I want to get it there. I will think about it. I won't pay right away, but I will think about it. But pay that much for half an inch frag? No, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
No.
but no,
and not
no.
knowing if it's going to survive.
If it's gonna
That's the thing.
Yeah.
survive, exactly.
Yeah.
Nah. Uh-uh.
Now, when I
250, 300, $1,000 for a half inch frag? No,
yeah,
are you out of your mind? I mean,
when
but
I
I
don't
if
set
see
you
the
up
have the
my
prices
house,
money,
going down either.
yeah,
I think the
it,
prices are just going to keep going up because I think it's a risk for them to even dive and get them now, right? Isn't that what
yeah.
I read about them?
Yeah. Well,
well,
my
right
most
now there's nothing shipping right now. It's what's happening. Nothing is coming in.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I think they just opened up Indo again, correct?
Yeah, they did open Indo, but with all this
But with the
COVID-19
situation,
thing going
yeah.
on,
Oh yeah, with
there's
the
nothing
COVID,
coming
yeah,
in. Yep.
Yeah, they
yeah.
closing everything again. Yeah.
well, my most expensive coral is I call it plaid cinerina, and I can show you guys. Let me just see if I got a picture of it here. Yeah, here. No, not that one. Not that one. Somewhere. I must have taken it down. It's the one that I had. It's right behind my head, behind my chair. Let me turn. That one right there, right above my shoulder.
Yep.
Is it the
Oh,
green
yeah.
one? Is it green?
That one, yes. That one right there.
Okay.
That's what I call my plaid cinerina, and it was $600.
Oh no.
But I did not pay $600.
Okay.
I traded it for frags.
That's
So
always a win.
It's cost me nothing.
That's
And
good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
that's
say
the most expensive one.
as long as you're good growing coral, I think you'll never have problems paying so much for coral.
Yeah.
I'd
That's
say.
what's going on with me right now.
Yeah, that's my plans. I want to try to, even though it's not going to be a big operation center for shipping corals and all that, but I'd like to have enough coral to trade.
Yeah.
Mhm. I took
Yeah, me
30
too.
today. 30
Sweet.
That's the
frags.
best thing about going to shows is that when you bring a little bit of coral, you get to pick up a little bit of coral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that they might not have and you have it on hand. Hey, I have this.
Yep.
I haven't
Yesterday,
been
I
to a
went-
show in 4 years.
Blacklight torch. Anybody
Now
heard
when I
of a
start
black light torch?
a
Sorry.
black
That's
plate.
actually black
No.
light torch is actually what I have inside my tank, but the lights are off now. I could probably show it next time.
Oh,
It's
okay.
actually the center of it is black, and then the outer tips are light green.
Oh,
Well,
cool. That'd be nice. So
what I was gonna
ATF in
say
the
is,
house is. Sorry, Oscar, you go
oh
ahead.
no, what I was gonna say is, when I start buying corals and higher end corals and all that, I will pay 100, 150 for an Acropora, but it's only going to
Carlo,
be once I have my calcium reactor running. So
Yeah,
go
I
to
don't,
Carlo.
I don't want any fluctuations.
yeah.
Go to
Yeah, the
Carlo
most I
Cologne.
ever. Once again, the most I ever paid for a Acropora even was $100 for the Jason Fox Flame.
Oh
But
yeah,
But again, I traded another coral for it, so it didn't
Yeah.
cost me anything, and then it died in my tank crash.
yeah. I think on CJ's live today, I was in CJ's live this evening, and he was talking about the Fox Flame that he had from Jason Fox. I think he lost that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sensitive. I
Yeah,
had one and I lost mine too.
Yeah.
I say whenever I try getting a coral, I always try to ask the person who I'm getting it from, what's their par level, what type of alkalinity they're running that one in, and try to
Yeah.
get as much information as you can. That way, you could maybe not simulate that because your parameters might be different, but you could probably try to acclimate it better to when
Yeah.
it goes in the tank, you won't shock it. So
Definitely.
Yeah, because you can't be changing your tank lights and everything else every time you get a new coral. So, but you can probably find a spot somewhere that is as close as you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, with my
I'm sure-
system, I definitely have I'll have one stage of the beginning part of my day, I have more white lights, and then it slowly changes to blues. So, except for tonight, because for the live stream, I had more whites on, so you could see a little bit better. But
Yeah.
most of the time, I'll have a good 4-hour stretch of some whites, so that certain corals like that white light. And then as time goes on, I'll switch to the blues.
I've noticed, because I've been tinkering with my upstairs lights a little bit. I've been bringing up the intensity over a period of 2 weeks. I bring up 2% every 2 weeks. So I've noticed that some of my acroporas has started to color up on the tips ever since I've been doing that.
Yeah.
Holla.
Holla at ya. His Zoa collection is 80% started as $5 to $10 frags. It's the best
Yeah.
way to do it.
That's the
Yeah.
best way to do it.
There's such variety.
Yeah.
Too many.
And when you set up those Zoa gardens, all that color intertwining with each other, and it's crazy. The color pops.
Yep. Hey, Bahama Llama Coral. How's it going tonight? Cool.
Remy. Yeah. I love him. He's so fun to watch.
By the way, I got a little video up on YouTube if you want to check it out, Cindy.
Oh,
with
yeah?
my little 29 gallon, I actually made a little video of it featuring the corals that I have.
Oh, when was this? Today or?
No, it was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, you know what? I'm really, really, really behind watching videos. I was watching some today from early March, and the problem is when I watch them, I like to make comments and everything, so it takes me a while to get through them all. But I will look for it, definitely.
Yeah, my little video is not professional at all. It's just me just over talking. And, hey, this is that, this is the other.
Join the club.
Yeah, I'm not too much into editing stuff yet. I'm just kind of learning as I go and all that.
And
so.
just have fun with it. That's all.
That's right. Hector, I just want to say your zoas look awesome.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, Hector.
Yeah, those zoas look awesome. They're just standing out like crazy.
Yeah, thank you.
Those are real nice. What are those purple ones in the bottom corner right there on the right?
These right here?
The purple, they look like fire and ice, I think. The ones on top of
These?
those. Yeah.
I really don't know.
They look like fire. No, those aren't fire and ice.
No, I
But those are
checked.
real nice. Those look like
Yeah,
hornets, I think. Are they hornets?
no. I was checking on Soante.com and didn't find nothing on them. Like the name, probably Hala Yuri boy. No, I think also Skukun Shop got on his tank.
Yeah, those are real nice. The contrast with the reds and the greens there.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. I got another frag over here, a big one. Well, not big one, but a nice size too.
Drama D says maybe Spider-Man.
Nah. I check. I try to compare those two, and not even close.
Hector, what are
Oh,
your nitrates? Bahama Llama wants to know what your nitrates are.
what's that?
Oh, so you don't test.
No. All I test is alkalinity. That's it. Yeah,
Well, you're
that's
doing
all I test.
something right.
That's for sure.
Well,
Alkalinity.
he's like he's like, as long as I do my water
Yeah, mommy.
changes, I don't care about nitrates.
I don't do water changes either. No.
It looks like there's a starfish on the outside of your tank.
Yeah,
The left
Where?
city.
yeah, those are the glasses.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's right
that's what
here.
it is.
I got one there. The one that lost the leg.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So Digging with Cruzy has a comment, and I have to say I agree. He's bought lots of corals. When he buys them, there's a name, and other people have the same one with different names. The same with the stores. They go, and there's different names. It's true. So you know what, Digging with Cruzy, I just make up names.
Yeah,
Like, that's
everybody
why
likes
I-
to name them.
Like
Yeah, that's why I have my RG
Like-
carpet
like these
bomb. Yeah.
like this right here, right? When I was searching for the name for this one, the only name that came up, it was Yeller, Yeller.
Huh.
And you know how much they cost supposedly? $10,000.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That
That's
was the price
crazy.
on them. And
Wow.
it's the only picture with this zoantes on it. But that ain't $10,000.
Jeez, you could pay off your mortgage just selling that frag.
Yeah,
Frag 'em up.
yeah. But I love them, and that's my favorite one. Out of all the ones I got, that's my favorite one.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
And like Hala say, it's just $5, $10, $20 frags. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
You just gotta put them all together. They look nice together.
Well, I'm very proud to say that my blue-eyed blonde zoanthus have now become 5 polyps. They started out as 2 polyps, and I've had them in this tank for almost 3 years. And in about the last 2 months, they're starting to spread.
Yeah.
So there you go.
They take time. Yeah, I got them
Yep.
too, and they take time to grow. But those iodine, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how, like the next day, right away, you're gonna see a
Yep.
iodine.
Hector MF. Hey MF. Glad you're in here tonight. Nice to see you. Hector, did you put the zoas in at the same time in the garden? The spreading looks awesome. So did you create
No.
that all at once?
No. I started peeking here and there, and just anything I see that I like, then I look for a place to put it. But no, I didn't put them all at once.
Zoas grow pretty fast, so that's the good thing about them.
Yeah, once they get
They
stable,
look-
they do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like these here, I think those are the eagle eye. Is it?
Yeah.
I think so.
They
So
are.
those were dying at one point, and once I put them high there in the arch, whoop, they just doing fine right there. Same thing with
Hard-
the These right here, this is Drama. D sent me these. Those are Krakatoas. Also, when I put them there, they were done. I started dosing iodine. Boom, they came back. They were getting that umbrella shape to it. Some
So
of
what
them.
do you do? What do you do? One drop a day,
No, 5 drops a week.
5
Just
drops a
about
week.
one in a day. Yeah, I do it one day. 5 drops.
Okay.
Boom, 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 and that's it. But then again, it's a lot of things that's gonna consume the iodine. So
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking with my tank. That there has to be something that, and it's not that every coral is looking bad. It's just my forest fire digitata. It's what's not looking good right now.
You got to see if it's maybe a fish because some fish like to eat
mm-hmm,
digitata.
mm-hmm.
I have a 6 line wrasse. I have a royal grama. I have 2 clowns, and I have that one tang, one yellow
Yeah,
tang, and that's it.
and watch
That's
it
all I
closely
have.
because I had digitata get eaten before by a fish. They seem to like the polyps sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I had a nice one too, and it was gone.
Mm.
I think it was my flame angel that started picking on it. Yeah, my
That
flame.
CJ's taking his out as well too. He was saying today he's taking his flame angel out.
Oh yeah, he said that on the live stream here last week because he sat there and watched it picking at stuff.
Yeah, he's picking at everything. So
it's hard to catch them.
yeah,
Hey, put a trap with a mirror inside. It will go in. That's my
Yeah,
trap. My
that's the
DIY
other
one.
that's the other thing about moving. I am not looking forward to catching my fish. That is
Oh
not going to be
man,
fun.
The,
not
the
at all.
problem is when they go inside the
But they
rocks.
big now.
Well, and we were talking about this
Hmm.
last week, and Alex pointed out, Alex G's aquariums, that because my plan was to start dismantling the rock structure one large piece at a time and just move it and wait a week or several days between times that I move things. But like he said, and he's right, if you've got a fish where that's their territory that you're taking away, it could
Hmm.
cause aggression with the other fish because they're going to be fighting for somewhere that they can sleep at night and all that kind of thing. So that's the other part of it. I don't know whether to try and catch the fish in a trap and remove them first and then add the
I,
coral.
I I think you should move them all at once. Yeah, either move. It's a big move, but
Yeah.
either move all the rocks at once and leave the fish behind, and then move the fish so they could settle in, or move the fish and then the rocks.
Yeah.
So then they make their
Yep.
differences where they going. Because
Yep. Well, I do have a
it's
few
definitely gonna be
rocks.
aggression.
Yeah. I do have a few rocks in there, and I have more that I can add, um,
Hmm.
just temporarily. So I don't know. It's not going to be easy. Wow, that's beautiful.
yeah.
And
Thank
your
you.
acans, Hector, are looking really fluffy.
Yeah, they happy today, and they all
Do-
started one head Akins.
Wow.
yeah, those
Yeah,
grow pretty fast too. I have
yep.
I have 2 of them. I have one that's kind of orange and blue, and the other ones I have some green ones and blue ones. Those looking pretty good. I want to get more of them,
And this,
different colors.
yeah, they're really nice. They're really nice. I want to change this one to a brighter green one, kind of like this one here, but the
Now, when
green
you
with the
frag
blue.
those, how do you frag those?
Just cut them. Just cut them.
That's it. Do you
Like
get
Yeah,
like
with
from
the
the
a
top down a
bandsaw?
bit.
bandsaw,
Yeah,
Get a
yeah.
right
bandsaw,
around
something.
the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never cut one before, so I'm gonna say, but I mean, my bad. I have. I'm lying. I have, but just cut around the head. Yeah, just don't. I won't think go straight through the mouth, cause then I think you will kill it.
I think I'll
You know
probably need a
who-
bandsaw for that.
You know who to look for to see how to cut up acans is Rookie Reefer. He's Australian. He has videos where he goes mental with a bandsaw. He would go to his LFS and buy giant colonies, bring them home, and cut them up.
Wow.
And of course, in Australia, he can come home with a colony the size of your hand for like $40.
Yep,
That's
for not so
great.
much money. Yep.
Yeah, so
That's
I
the
would
same thing
look
with the
up
gold torch.
yeah, Rookie Reefer on YouTube. He's very entertaining. Like he's quite enjoyable to watch. His videos are really good.
Yeah, I got to get another coral saw. That's on my list. That's my next purchase. I had one 4 years
they don't
ago,
go
and I
so
sold
high,
it to
though.
a friend.
They go around $400, I think it is, for a bandsaw.
Yeah, I had an Outland, and it had diamonds on the edge of the blade, and water ran down it, and it was really great for cutting coral. When I used to sell in the shows about 4 or 5 years ago, but then I moved because we relocated from one state to another, and I sold it to a friend of mine, and he still sells in Connecticut at the Frag Farmers, and he uses it all the time. But he bought a new saw, and he said, "Oh, maybe I'll sell you back your saw." But I haven't heard anything since then, so I don't think I'm getting my saw back. I'll have to buy a new one. But they're a great thing to have. You can cut just about anything with a coral saw. It's awesome.
I'm from Connecticut.
How often do you have to change the blade on it?
If it doesn't come off, the blade will stay forever as long as you're running water on it. So it's more of a matter of whether or not it comes off the mechanism that keeps it on there. It'll pop off sometimes. If you're cutting things that are really thick, like say it's a big favia or something like that, and you're trying to cut it in half, sometimes the blade will dislodge, and then you got to go putting it back on and all that. But other than that, the blades last forever.
Okay.
It's kind of like a sewing machine. When
Yeah.
you're working with really heavy fabric, if you're not careful, you deflect the needle, depending on how you push the fabric through, and then it breaks. So I imagine it's the same thing with the bandsaw, because the blade is so thin and flexible. It must be rather easy to cause it to deflect and get stuck.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what happens. It just comes right off. But the one that I had, it wouldn't cut your hand. So it was a really good saw. And then my buddy, his company's called Sea Gardens in Connecticut.
Oh, I know him.
You know him?
Daniel?
Yes, that's Hani.
Yeah, Danny.
Yep.
Yeah. That's where I get my corals from.
You get them from Hani. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for 9 years now.
Wow.
And
That's
he
small
sends me
world.
coral too, believe it or not. But believe it or not, he's got my saw. He's got a 200-gallon vat that I bought. It's in his water room. Have you been to his house, Hani's?
Yeah.
Yeah, that big white vat, that was mine.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, and I think his 150 I helped him carry out of a basement one time. But he's got a lot of coral. Hani has a lot of coral.
A lot, yeah.
If you go on, he's got a new video on the Frag Farmers that he got interviewed, and he was really happy about. He sent me the link to it, and it was just some guy went to the Frag Farmers, and he filmed Hani setting up all his corals and selling them. But Hani's a great guy.
What a small world.
I know, it is a small world.
Yeah, because I'm in Connecticut. That's why.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's right in my backyard.
Yeah, he's right in your backyard.
Hopefully, when all this is over, we could probably, I don't know, do something, man. Get to know each other. I don't know, even if I have to travel. I live in Kentucky. So
absolutely. I'm in North Carolina now, but I go up to Connecticut to visit my family, and when I do, I go visit Hani, and I spend the day with him.
Sweet.
We talk about coral. We trade some coral, and he still mails. Like, I'll mail him something, he'll mail me something. The other day, he mailed me like 30 corals. I think it was like three months ago. It was all Zoas, a couple SPS pieces. Yeah, Hani's a good guy.
Yeah.
That's so cool to find out you know, like Hector said, it's a really small world, and to find out that people are closer to you than you realize.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a very
All
small world.
All because the glass box full of water.
Yep.
Wow.
Hey Hector, MF
Yes.
has another question. Are those
Mm-hmm.
acans in their own separate rock, or are they glued all together on one big rock?
All these are glued to one rock. These came in the rock. This one and this one right here, they came in the same rock. And then I glued this one, that one, that one, that one, that one. These four down here, they just lose in the sand bed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. I like that. That orange one that's right there in the front.
What,
That's
this
what
one?
mine look like. The one in the bottom. The one in
Oh,
the
this
bottom
one
right
here.
there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that one.
yeah.
Those are the ones that look like the ones I have.
Yeah, this one back there, I got it from Billy Pipes, or Reef Palooza, and the rest. Did I get anything around in here? Nah. Nah, all this I bought them from All Pet Club. Most of them,
Wow.
except this one. Yeah, and all
Yeah,
like
they're
I said, all they were one head.
Hector, I went in that store Christmas time when I went up to visit my parents, and All Pets Club, they had some good coral for a while there, but they've kind of slowed up a little bit, it seems like.
Yeah.
Their prices got
What?
higher.
Which one you went to?
I went to the Southington store.
Southington, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because the guy, I think the guy that is bringing the corals, he sell them too in his house. So he be putting those prices sky high.
Just keep going to see Hani. You won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely not. Oh yeah,
You'd be surprised the corals that I've gotten from people that are big sellers, and that you see their prices that go up over, you know, like the $100, $200, and you'd be surprised you could get them for cheaper when you're dealing with them,
yeah,
you know, hand to hand.
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yes. Oh yes.
They're like, oh, you know what? Let me get $40 for that one. Let me get 20. You know, they're more flexible as far as their pricing.
That's what I say. Like online, you go online. You're trying to buy, let's say, Zoas, Rastas, $40 a frag with 2 heads, 3 heads.
Yeah.
When you go to all the places like Honey, you go over here, you get a full frag with like 10 heads for $20.
$20. Yep.
$20. You can beat that.
No.
That's what I have, like around 3 little heads of Rastas is what I have. And I bought those in wrap in Chicago for $20.
And they grow fast. Rastas grow really fast too.
Well, they haven't been growing too fast for me. I bought when I bought them, they only had like 2 heads, and now they have like just 1 more head since October. So
wow, that's a long time too.
Yeah.
Maybe put them on where it's good flow.
Flow, yep.
I moved them around. I moved them yesterday, and they opened up because they were even closed where they were at. So I put them like near the sand bed where they're getting a little bit more flow and more light, and they opened up immediately.
Hey Hector,
yeah, like
Oh, sorry. Johnny Martinez is wondering if the zoanthids sting each other.
Not that I know.
No.
They always open. Yeah, I don't think. I even with the polys, they compatible because I got both in there. I got Purple Monster polys. The crocodiles are polys. What else is polys here? The drags, vampires and drags. I think those are polys too. But no, I don't see them stinging each other. They sting mushrooms. They do sting mushrooms. Because I had this one here, and look, that little corner right there is pissed. That mushroom was huge, and as soon as those poly got close to it, done.
Yeah.
Aren't those the killer pallies that kill people?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Actually, they say any pallies can kill you now.
No, but these, oh my God, these throw so much slime when you touch them.
I
crazy.
heard the green ones could kill a whole block of people.
Yeah, yeah, I like them. They colorful. So
They are.
and I'm really. I gotta say I'm stupid because when I handle the corals, I don't use gloves. Even those, I don't use gloves. I just make sure I don't put my hands in my mouth. But sometimes I be forgetting when I'm fragging Zoa. Sometimes I be forgetting, and I touch my face, and you can feel the burn. And I say, "Oh, I forgot to wash my hands." Not no more with this going on. Now it's like a habit. You gotta wash your hands.
Yep, it's true.
And look,
Everything you do.
those same Monties.
Yeah, everything you do now, you got to wash your hands.
Yep. Yeah.
Get a new package, you gotta clean your hands. You gotta wash the box, cut it open, throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah, I like ReefGrrl meme.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think, Hector? Should I show them my meme?
Yeah, show it.
I'll see if I can get it up here.
That's nice.
The first one I ever did.
Oh, you should have seen me. I was here cracking. I said, "What are you doing?" That's fun. That was really funny.
All I got to do is get my iPhone to find my computer. Maybe I'll mail it to myself.
So, Cindy, are you planning on filming the move whenever you do? Or you think it's something that...
Yeah, and I've already started documenting the new tank, what I've been doing with that. So, yeah, it's going to be quite the story.
Have you uploaded anything so far? As far as the new tank?
About the new tank, no. I'm collecting all the footage. As soon as the 90 is ready for me to start moving stuff over in quantity, then I probably will do a video of it to that point. And then the next one after that will be when it's full again. So we'll see. You know, like it's you got to be careful because it can be really boring.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Hey, this is what as far as driving trucks and delivering tires, this is what I do for a living. I'm always on YouTube looking up everybody.
Yep.
And I don't think, Cindy, your videos could ever be boring.
No, never.
I enjoy it.
I love them. Every time I see there's one, I watch it. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Now let's see how
It's only few people that go into good details with either products or whatever is going on, and you one of them.
That's true.
Yeah, like the detail and the thing that you catch on the video is perfect.
I even look forward to the announcement of the live stream.
Me too.
Oh, thank you, because you know what? I really do try every time to make it different. So thank you for saying that, because it's worth the effort.
That's why the first thing I did today was sent you that email. I'm like, I'm not going to get left out this week.
And you know what? I had the wrong email for you. There's the meme.
Well, I have two emails. The other one is probably not working. So I gave you a different email today. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Unless it's a box of chocolates.
Yeah. Then we get the Lysol out of the vault, because you got to protect your sanitizing equipment.
Yeah.
So while you're doing this, we will show you this week's picture of my grandson, because I never get to see him now. There he is.
Oh yeah.
He's so cute.
He looks so jaunty with his little bandana on.
He's smiling and everything.
Big already.
He knows they're taking pictures of him. God bless him.
Very
How
photogenic.
is it? 2 months and a half, right? Like 2 months and a half?
He's 3 months today.
3 months?
Yeah.
Wow. Time
Yeah,
fly.
Yep.
It does.
That was
for sure.
yesterday when you were saying that you was going through that.
Is
Yeah.
that a rock anemone? Is that a flower? One of those flower rock anemones?
What,
Green
that
one?
right there?
The green one in the sandbed?
Oh, this, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Do they move around?
yes, they do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Look at where is that one in the back over there. And it was right here in front. It started moving towards this rock. I moved it back, put it in the top, and the next day I found it back there.
Well,
Now it's
that's
over
what
here.
that's where it wants to be then. That's where
Yeah.
it likes the light and yeah.
You know who has a beautiful anemone tank is Fishy Snowman.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he doesn't do videos very often, but look
I
him up
know,
on
I
YouTube.
know.
That thing is a 5-gallon Pico, and he's got
Yeah.
rock flower anemones. I think he has almost 20 in there, and
And the
sexy
Zoa
shrimp.
tank too.
Yeah, and the sexy shrimp is so cool.
Yeah.
The sexy shrimps,
I
yeah.
have no luck.
Yeah.
I have no luck with anemones whatsoever. I don't know
Try
why.
these. These are easy. These you don't do nothing. Just put them there and they will do. They just
Yep.
consume like. I mean, you can feed them. I feed them here and there.
Do
I
they
don't go
bother your
crazy feeding
corals?
them.
Will
No,
they
no.
sting your corals? No.
No, I
I
got
might consider one then.
a flock spawn here, and they didn't do nothing to the coral when it was like touching each other. Probably
they-
this one sting the anemone that you ran back there.
And they added a
Hello.
lot of color to the tank.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. Hello, Jessica J. Glad you could join
Jessica
us.
J.
And thank you very much, Casey Nano. I appreciate it. It's good feedback. The one I'm working on right now is about the wrong way to frag Montipora. Well,
The wrong way to
the wrong-
grab
Oh,
Montipora.
yeah. Yep. It was not the most pleasant experience, but in the end, it all worked out. But it was not
It
fun.
worked, yeah.
They say you could break a piece of Montipora, leave it in the sandbed for 3 years, and it'll still grow.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If you have enough alkalinity, those things go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, lately I've been keeping my alkalinity stable, but I dose here and there like 5 mils of calcium weekly, and the Monty just started growing like crazy.
Yeah.
And you know
They
what I
do-
do to keep my alkalinity 8.7, 8.6, 8.7 to a 5-gallon bucket. I add 2 scoops of 2 teaspoons of cold water and put in the ATO and forget about it. Let the ATO take care of it. And
It's nice and
every
stable
time,
that way.
yeah, every time I test, it's always 8.6, 8.7.
Now, can you still do it if you're doing 2-part? Can you still do Kalkwasser?
You can.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
You can.
You probably
only
want to
thing you
lower your
have to-
dosing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the only thing you have to be careful of is if your alkalinity is low, check your calcium before you bump up your 2-part.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
your calcium is high, then you have to find another way to
True.
get things balanced out. No, actually, that was
Mhm.
wrong. Check your calcium before you bump your Kalkwasser dose. That's what I
Yeah.
meant to say.
Yeah.
Because if you just blindly bump the Kalkwasser dose without checking the calcium, you could also be increasing your calcium when you don't want to. And I know
Okay.
that from experience too. You got to do it
Oh,
wrong
yeah,
before you get it
yeah.
right.
Yeah, we go through a lot. Oh man.
Yeah,
At the
everything-
beginning it was a headache, but now it's just all fun.
Everything seems to be looking nice in my tank right now, so I don't want to go ahead and just mess with it. So
Yeah.
Just start off small if you use it. Start off with a
Mhm,
teaspoon and 5 gallons or something like
Yeah,
that.
5
or half a
gallons.
teaspoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see how much is taken away from the tank and if it stays stable. But so far for me, it's been the perfect formula for this tank.
It's definitely a good all-in-one if you use it right.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
But I do wanna try the ice cap coaster. That's what they call.
The one that I said I have.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I love it.
yeah. I want to try one of those. Too bad I can use my skimmer. It got stolen. It just, I don't know, man. I don't know how people. And then we got cameras here. And the cameras didn't work that day. The battery was dead.
Yeah, that's why I try to. If I know that I'm not going to be home, and I have a package coming, I just have it. I just have it get delivered to my job, so I could always pick it up at work.
Yeah, because I mean, me and Drama D was talking, and he told me to, be on the lookout between Friday to Monday. So that was, but they sent the package earlier, and it arrived the first. It was a Wednesday. I was at work.
Yeah.
So, and around here, man, it's a lot of drug addicts. So I know if it was taken by one of them, they saw a box. Oh, hold on. That's a big box. That's money.
They probably don't even know what to do with it. They see it. What is this?
Yeah.
They don't even know what it's for.
Yeah, they probably think it's to a grinder for food. So, oh, this is fancy. But I feel bad, because I told Drama, let me know how much, because he was selling it for $100, and I told him I give you the 100 and I pay for the shipping, and he went and sent it to me, with no money. So he lost twice.
Yeah.
Hey Hector.
Yes.
Jessica is wondering if you target feed and what do you feed your corals. You told us a little bit about that when you first came on. You had the magic bottles there.
I do target feed once a week, and I use Reefer and Benepets mixed together.
Reefer
They say
Benepets. They say the Benereefs or Benepets, however you call it.
Yeah.
It has no phosphates in it. Like, it has no phosphates.
Yeah, but all right. For me, my corals do better with Reefroids. I like Benereef.
Yeah, I have the same experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying marine
could
snow.
Could that be the thing to where Reefroids does add a little bit of phosphates to your water? Could that be the maybe the benefit of it? Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, but Hector, you'd have to test to find out.
But yeah, also my test is my eyes.
I know. We know your secrets.
Yeah, if I see girl, okay, hold on, I did that right. Okay, no, that's wrong. Let me just forget about that.
You reef by instinct.
Yeah. No,
and experience.
You know what it is? I know I do certain things to the tank that it makes the grow go fast. And when I do that, I'm not recording it, so I know exactly what I did. Then I start switching. Okay, let me see if it was what I did. And no.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find the perfect formula right now. What I've been doing, that it just sparked that growth.
You know what? It makes sense. I'm going to tell you why. I know that things are not doing good sometimes, and it's because of lack of a water change. You could look at your tank and you could know that something's not right with it just by looking at it.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. When I do water change, things go wrong. You get all the corals don't want to open fully; they just close.
They just say no, it's too clean. It's too clean.
Yeah, it's too clean. And I don't got no skimmer. All I got is a refugium.
Hey, but that works too. I am growing Chaeto like crazy. My Chaeto is growing like crazy. Like when I got the Chaeto, I got it from like a size of a golf ball, and right now It's covering the whole top of my refugium.
Oh yeah, once they take off, man. I have mine for a lot of years, and until the tank crashed because of me messing around with the tank.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
everything, all the shit will just turn to dust.
we lost Shawn.
Nasty.
Sounded like he was having
Oh,
audio trouble. Wow. Yeah, I guess I should really wrap this up for the night. I could sit
my
here
battery's
and
dead.
So it's
yeah,
probably...
look at me. I'm here wiring.
Yeah, it's probably a good point to wrap it up and wait for next week. And I forgot to mention early in the stream about the Reefer feature, which Kimber Reefs suggested for a name. And that is, if anybody wants to send me short video clips of their tank to ReefGrrl@gmail.com, I would be happy to put together a little tiny movie and show it on the live stream. And I
Definitely.
did that with some stuff that ATF in the house sent me. And actually, I had uploaded a couple of photos from him this week, and we just didn't get to showing them because I was too busy showing my grandson. But anyway,
He's so beautiful.
so
God bless
so
him.
serious. Yeah, he's gorgeous. So seriously, if anybody does want to email clips to me, I will be happy to put them together in a little movie, an iMovie, and put them on the stream and share them with everybody. So it might be a great way to sort of show us your tank without having to actually come on the live stream yourself, Carlos, because I know people are shy.
Yes, like Carlos,
So,
without saying
yeah.
name.
Yeah, his initials are Carlos.
Yes,
So
Carlos.
think about it, because it's really nice to see what everybody's got going on, and people are shy, and not everybody
Especially
wants...
Carlos.
Yeah, and not
I
everybody
was a
wants
little
to
shy.
make videos, right? Yeah. I remember your first time on here was your first time on a live stream.
Yeah.
So and that went fine, didn't it?
Yeah. I can't get enough
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And,
just gotta get on it. That's it.
Yep.
Get on it and just go with the flow.
Yep. And Jessica J has a good question. Can we talk about our tank while the movie is showing? Sure. I mean, if you
Sure.
come into the studio here, you don't have to show yourself. You can turn your camera off and just have a little avatar or whatever the default symbol is. And if I play the little video, maximum 30 seconds, or I can make more than one. But the most anyone can be is 30 seconds. And yeah, you can certainly talk about your tank while the movie is showing. So I think it'd be really cool to do that, because it gives us insight into what other people have without
Yeah.
putting them kind of out of their comfort zone and having to maybe participate in a way that they're not quite sure they want to. So so yeah, think about it. I'm more than happy to put it together with iMovie, and it's a little complex to upload it and download it and all of that, but I figured it out. So we could do that. It'd be fun.
The good thing about this that we do is we all can learn from each other so much.
Oh
Because
yeah.
nobody's right. We just can learn from each other a lot of things.
Exactly.
Because
I don't know
every tank is
everything.
different. Yeah, every tank is different. So what I do with mine is not the same thing other people do in theirs, but it's working for me. So it might work. Some part of mine might work to somebody else's tank.
Yep, definitely.
We can learn a lot from each other.
For sure. All right. Well, I'm going to say
All
goodnight,
right.
and everybody watch the outro because it's Mollywood, and I haven't shown
Yep.
Mollywood in a long time.
A long time. Yes.
So thanks for letting me in. Thanks for letting me in this evening. I had a lot of fun.
I'm glad you were able to get in finally. It was my fault. I had your email wrong, and then I looked at it tonight and I saw the 23 that I didn't have in the
Yeah.
address. So
Well, both of them are working emails. I don't know why the other one wasn't working, but the
Yeah.
one I sent you today, it's another one that I have. So
Yeah.
I
So
guess
I
it worked
updated my
out.
list. And thanks, Hector, for coming in. And thank you to Shawn, the two Shawns, Shar Buckles and Shawn's
You
Fish Tank.
you say Reefer called me out.
Yeah, I
watching.
said,
Let me get
hey,
it.
Yeah,
Hector,
You
come
always
on,
have
man.
for me, so yeah. I appreciate it, man.
That's awesome.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, good night, everybody.
Have a good night. Stay
Good
safe.
night.
We'll see you next week.
Stay safe.
See you
Good
next
night.
week.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Well, now, thanks so much to everyone who came along tonight in the studio, in the chat, and watching. And to those of you who are watching the replay, thank you too for sticking around to the end. I hope you'll join me for next week's live stream, Saturday, April the 18th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Stay safe, everybody.